called out. And so has Pig, but more importantly, me, Winter, has been called out by an xPERT. Now, I know many of you have already seen HARSTEM's concise and brilliant take on this, but as the one personally involved, I would like to address these accusations and respond directly. So before we even get into Angry Coach, let me put on my defensive hat and see what they consist of. The allegations. FPS underscore Daniel, aka also known as xPERT, on Team Liquid, the strategy forum, which has been relatively quiet in the last few years, has exploded with the drama and the excitement that Daniel has brought. Hey gang, I'm new to StarCraft 2, love to see it. I've been a decently high Quake player before, and I'm trying to get into it. On YouTube, I've watched the most recent builds for Terran to have a decent build and something to build on. Now I've watched Winter's videos and Pig's videos. I've learned their builds out of my head. Even having their videos being played on my second screen and doing exactly what they are doing as Terran versus very hard / elite AI. And yet, I'm telling you, and keep in mind, I'm new, I might fuck up here and there. But the builds you are making within the time that you are doing it won't win you more than 20% of the matches versus AI. So yeah, what about this? Make a few vids, like where you do 5 matches versus Elite AI as Terran with the builds you are showing. That get me to at least gold on the ladder to see what this is about and what I'm doing wrong. Thanks in advance, xPERT. So, hi and welcome. There are some issues here. So, the TL forums, surprisingly welcoming. A lot of great people over there. Daniel, so, Ball over here from France, with a measured response. Beating the AI isn't getting to the Gold League. Fair, yes. But first off, I do say my build orders are not supposed to necessarily be something you can copy directly. There's something that gives you a game plan going forward. Yes, you can try to copy it directly, and I think, in many cases, it'll get you pretty far. And Pig as well, I think, has a similar philosophy, though probably a little more precise because it's Pig. But we need to really dive into this. Daniel helps. No, I wanted to leave Quake and really get into this in Stroke Terran because that was the free campaign Okay, one moment. I need to make sure I got it right here. Sorry. We do it live. That is part of the reason maybe these builds were not as perfect as I hoped. So, one moment as we make sure we get the whole gist of it. All right. That was the free campaign available when I downloaded. And I'm saying that when you follow the guide Frock, Pig, or Winters, and you do that versus Elite AI, you will lose 80% of the time. And unless Elite is like gold on the ladder, I want to see him. I think Elite is like gold on the ladder. It's around gold, in my opinion, from my experience. Maybe a little better sometimes, depending on the situation. But I think that's a good assessment. It's not a perfect translation, but none of this is. So I want to see him win versus Elite AI with that same build order and strategy. Thanks and welcome. What builds and vids specifically? We have the beginner Terran, bronze to GM from Pig. We have my easy Terran build order, updated in 2020. So not... It is... Honestly, Terran build orders haven't really changed since 2010, so... still hopefully accurate. These builds, like exact replicas, won't win you 80% of the times versus Elite AI. So Jiminy Cricket comes and wins 5 times. With Pig's build, I see you. Jiminy Cricket coming in. Post a replay. Zero Byte chiming in. Everyone essentially supportive, but like maybe you need to consider other options here. So eventually, FPS Daniel, aka xPERT, comes back. I'll post a VOD where I'm just building my build, and I have a decent army parked at my second base, and then the enemy comes in and just blasts me away in second, even though his army isn't way bigger. I will find in a bit, and then upload. Let's hope he can find it. Thanks, I'll watch these back. Here's a demo of me playing versus very high or elite AI. So I win playing like this maybe 1 out of 5 times. And this demo is also not my best play. And it happens to me. So I didn't watch this demo because I assumed it would give me at least 10 different viruses on my AOL account. Easyupload.io. So if you want to take the risk, then it's up to you. But SC2ReplayStats.com does exist, and I am reasonably sure both myself and Pig did mention that in our videos. But moving on. I gave it a look. Oh, a brave soul, Bjornik here. It appears they got the idea.
20 months.
So it boils down to my micro. It looks like Bjork here says it boils down to your macro, aka not spending enough money, all that. Daniel takes away it boils down to my micro. Bjork comes back, says, actually, it is the macro. Patience. I love the TL forums coming through here. I gotta say, a lot of credit here. And breaking it down, Dark Plasma Ball with 40,800 posts. And all of them seem to be quite well formatted and a strong response. Shout out to Dark Plasma Ball. Okay, Daniel comes back. I know I'm giving you the long version of the story, but if you want the short version, you'd already have watched HARSTEM's video. We'll get there. What action should I take next time? I thought this was appropriate to lead an angry coach with some productive and thoughtful coaching, just to give a bit of contrast before we get into the angry coach, in case you didn't realize. Are you playing games, says that one, the Call the Guy, a.k.a. Daniel, a.k.a. xPERT. Thank you for joining us. Okay, to make thing, what action should I take next? More units and improve a bit on the macro and the micro? All right, that is. This isn't a chat room. Dark Plasma Ball comes back. Thanks for the advice. I'll keep this in mind. But this isn't how the guide vids tell me to do while they claim these builds will get you to diamond. Jiminy Cricket has had enough. Daniel responds. If you want to get good, all right, Jiminy Cricket. To Jiminy Cricket's credit, he did play 5 games. He uploaded the replays. He put them out there for Daniel in replay form. Daniel does not seem to have quite acknowledged that, and Jiminy Cricket has had enough. And you know what? All right. Dark Plasma Ball coming in with a little bit more of a measured response. You don't get to 41,000 TL forum posts without being banned, without being an incredibly patient person. So, Dark Plasma Ball with some life advice. I think it'd be more tactful to write a first post with something like, I'm brand new to StarCraft, and I'm wondering what I can do better because I lost the game. Here's the video, instead of the title post you made. But Dark Plasma Ball, then YouTubers would not have content about the tiny little nugget of drama in a sea of wholesome and well-thought-out patient community efforts. Dark Plasma Ball is the thing that is wrong with this community, I think. Because otherwise, we wouldn't have any video content. Daniel comes in defending from multiple angles. Jimmy, why call me a troll? Dark Plasma does not understand the reply function. I could have, but I'm not talking about a lost game, so that's not the point. My point is that both Winter and Pig claim you can get to gold/diamond with a similar build, which I've learned and try to replicate with, of course, taking into account I'm new, very often doesn't win versus Elite AI, so the title makes sense. The title, I remind you, Calling Out Pig and Winter. That is the whole title. It would have been more useful just to give me advice on the stuff I've given instead of just the last 2 replies, which aren't helpful in any way. Don't worry, there's a punchline to all this, guys. There's multiple. And it's me. I'm the... No. Everything always comes down. Ninegon makes a new account to play their very own game. Looking at pigs. Will no one look at my build? Alright. You know what? Maybe my build's terrible. Maybe just call me... Maybe I'm special. No? Criticizing Pig, like the best random player who speaks English probably besides Scarlett. But Scarlett, I don't see Scarlett making builds for Daniel here, so that doesn't count. Your macro is very beginner level, which really means subpar. 600 minerals at 140 is basically a death sentence. We got Fig Q here coming in with another philosophical part about macro. Daniel comes back. Thanks for the reply. I'll try to continue to improve. My main concern is, which I also encountered in Quake, that I don't want to get stuck with bad and wrong habits, which will be very hard to get rid of when you've been doing them a long time. So I want to try to do it better from here and get more efficient. That's actually the most wisdom. This is actually... I see nothing wrong with the idea of this entire post. This is actually correct. This is a very smart way of looking at things. It is better to avoid bad habits early than to try to fix them later. So, in a vacuum, Daniel dropping some real wisdom here. All right, and then Jimmy's back to defend himself, which I don't think is going to end well. Fair enough, you might have a point. Wait, Daniel, all right, Daniel coming around. And he also learned the reply function. I won. I want to go on the ladder, and I might be able to beat a bronze there, but when I watch the demos and stuff, it looks so easy to beat the AI that I can't help myself, and I just want to be able to do that before going in for real. And more supportive statements. Supportive statements. Here is a very helpful video. Thanks to... And he even has a demo, a replay of him winning. Maybe we'll have to add in Angry Coach today. But we're not there yet. And Sudet chiming in. It warms my heart. But wait, there's more. We're not done. This is the most popular post on the Team Liquid Net strategy forum in several years. So we gotta see what kind of strategy is unveiled. It's heartening. Just everyone's loving it. Everyone's having a good time. And then one of the worst things to ever happen to the StarCraft community happens. HARSTEM. HARSTEM gets involved.
As I was browsing my favorite forum...
So I'm not going to show his entire video here. There's not much of it. But HARSTEM is thoughtful enough
AKA
to create a handcrafted build order involving not one, not two, not three, but 4 bases and a planetary fortress to make sure Daniel can beat that elite AI and work onto the ladder. So HARSTEM really... knowing his audience here, I think, does a real good job of giving Daniel a baseline of how to accomplish what he has set are his goals, which is beating the very hard Special Elite AI. So, beautifully done by HARSTEM. I will say, I do wish I had thought of including a build order of this sort in order to appeal to these players. So, you can, of course, check that out. But, is it well received? That. Yes, we continue. I loved everyone in general. I love the community. HARSTEM's amazing. But wait. There's one person whose opinion matters. I did not watch What Does Winter Say, but Pig and Vibe, none of them mentioned how you can practice. Okay, HARSTEM, and then multiple people. Everybody liking HARSTEM's video. Let's temper our response until we hear what Daniel thinks. Do I get 50% of the revenue that's made with this vid or what? You see, cutting right to the macro. I gotta give him some credit. American Umlau from Germany says, yep, that's how the internet works. So, but wait, we're not done yet. The story continues. And more discussion about the AI and how it works and how to beat it. Very productive. No sarcasm. Actually, like, it is productive. If you do want advice, there's more advice in this thread than probably half a dozen of the other strategy threads combined, as this has inspired quite a bit of discussion and thoughtful commentary. Something fundamentals. All right, and here comes Daniel. It's been a few days. I'm just saying, I'm a semi-Quake Pro Leo player before. It's all good and fun. But two YouTuber, have taken this over to make money over my back, and that everybody has gotten into this. If Circum or Sanum, whoever made this video, should take me personally and add Emma's friend till I'm godcall, then we could talk. I know Onoi feel used or to make you gain some U-Tunes money, and I'm still hurty. All I'm saying. So, Daniel with some strong feelings here. Wombat, were you entirely sober? I choose to believe yes. Jiminy also questioning it. American Umau. Highly regarded. Thank you. And this has not helped his standing in the Team Liquid community, so the general thought process, the real talk here is HARSTEM, myself, and Pig all found this to be one of the most wholesome and amazing posts of all time. Like, obviously, Daniel is enthusiastic about the game, and obviously he doesn't have all the fundamental ideas that he needs, but he seems to be interested in getting them, and it is actually exciting to see newer players, no matter what background they're coming from. But this has taken a turn. It has taken a turn. So, the Quake CTF Finals is the response to all of these comments. Anyways, I just came here to ask some advice by saying calling out. I remind you of the context. I'm calling out these two YouTubers for their YouTube videos, which I think are bad. But they came here asking for advice, not to be dragged into some Uber's video drama and all this shit. Thank you for the ad-eye. I'll keep on trying. When I have something worthwhile to mention it, I'll mention it. Bye. Infested Reen. K. I'm not sure why we're posting, and here's HARSTEM losing to the AI as well. And this is what this was all leading up to. I was curious if I could find anything about FPS Daniel and his Quake prowess, and all I could turn up was a script dedicated to him for muting players in Quake Live. Seeing his posts, I think this makes a lot of sense. Here is the GitHub. Let us see. Where is it dedicated to Daniel? I choose to believe this plugin is dedicated to FPS Daniel 7 years ago. The internet, well, some people never change. Daniel's back. If I may have some across a bit hostile to you guys, then I'm sorry, okay? I also have real life problems to deal with, and I'm only human after all. I'm thankful for all the tips and posts everyone gave me. They kept me motivated to keep trying and start playing. And with that being proud, I'm now proud to announce that I'm Bronze 1. Hopefully no one tells Daniel that that's actually like the highest league you can get below Masters because of the rank bug, because that's not going to come across. But yeah, only people pull off nasty tricks, which is a nice way of saying cheese. From now on, instead of getting cheesed, they pulled a nasty trick on me. Those nasty, tricksy Protoss. They're illusions, Michael. Tricks are what Protoss do for ladder points. Like, yesterday, I had a whole solid army in front of base and was ready to attack, but he dropped a nuke on my army. And attacked me instead. But I'll keep you guys posted. And I wanted to add is this was already in Pig and Inter guide. But for some reason I changed path from this build, and probably because also still watching too much other dudes, but is that I have build after my first barrack at the stairs. I'll make sure to have around 450 saved up, and then is make a second command center in orbital, and then add extra 2 barracks with tech labs. And with this as solid start and having some hotkeys and a bit more experience, it's going a lot better. So yeah, wanted to add. The biggest problem I still have is that when I have more units and tanks and stuff and I just attack, people say it can be done with more units. But a row of lined up siege tanks up a ramp versus a bigger army coming from below kills me hard. But sometimes I can lure them out, and then they walk into me, and then it's fine. Well, but it's a complicated game. Somebody chimes in on the letter ranking. You know what? Daniel has come all the way around. Credit to Daniel. Daniel, obviously, a bit of a roller coaster here. But Daniel has learned through hard-won experience that attacking up a ramp is maybe... attacking up a stairs is not the ideal strategy. He's learned the value of a second command center. He's learned the value of some hotkeys. And he's still playing the game. So Daniel is nothing if not persistent. So, with that said, I would like to dedicate this Angry Coach Marathon to FPS Daniel. May his tanks always siege and his vision reach the high ground. And let's go find that. He posted one replay from a few weeks ago, but there was one. He managed to find the SC2 replay stats somewhere. Oh wait, here we are. Let's find it. Against the very hard AI. Does he get 50%? I am offering FPS Daniel 50% of the title of this video, which is almost as good as revenue. Because that way, when people Google FPS Daniel, it won't just come up with that GitHub plugin. It'll come up with this video. So...
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?
No replay here, but you're great.
Let's take a look. I don't remember exactly what my Terran build order says. Thank you, like 300 foxes. Yes, and $15 for Angry Coach, usually. Alright, that is very close to where we usually build our first depot, near the stairs. And so far so good. So the general gist, maybe I should really quick find out what I said. So that way I know if I'm making things up.
Donation confirmed.
Thank you, non-salty Terran. Of course, FPS Daniel also plays Terran. Just to shout out. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and today we're... So the general... Yes, I have the minerals, a third command center. So we built a bunch of tanks and marines. Show you the 111. Protoss, does he have one gateway? And battle cruisers. You build... You can technically do it with siege tanks and range. So we build a big army. Okay, I mean, the strategy has not changed. In many. Essentially, building a 111, getting 3 racks, and going for siege tanks and marines has been a strategy for 12 years now. Give or take. Let alone, well, as long as we avoid any nasty tricks. That is, of course. So he does have a hotkey for his command center. Getting a say, honestly, right now, besides missing the second depot, getting a second command center, getting an orbital opening reactor, I believe that is part of my build, just to avoid building units and trying to micro them. We did stop building SCVs for a bit here, which is not ideal. And also, usually you want to hotkey the barracks, so that way you can build units out of it. And that way you'll have units, which is good, Yeah, as you can tell, well, against Terran, usually the wall off is not so important, but in general, we do try to have it be a wall off near the stairs. As well as hotkeying in with the shift key, that second command center.
Add-on complete.
Building depots is fun. I do enjoy building depots myself, but usually building units is preferable, or SCVs when you have enough. I mean, we all love building depots. Does anybody not love building depots? I want to know. So, yeah, production hotkeys, or just hotkeying the barracks to be able to produce a little more regularly. Good, but overall, pretty solid army. Honestly, coming out at a solid 30 APM against the 420 of the very hard AI, which does weird things like patrolling SCVs and random locate. I don't know why it does that. I will say, looking at this right now, this is a solid silver or even gold level. Yeah, I'd say solid silver. Like, we've gotten this far. If we had barracks hotkeys, if we had both command centers hotkeyed, some hotkeys to quote, honestly, it's not bad. It is not nearly the disaster that I was kind of assuming. Like, right now, this interpretation of the build order is very similar-ish.
333 just donated $15.
It is very similar to FPS Daniel's interpretation of typing English. You get the gist. Some details are obviously not quite there, but the message comes across.
SCV ready.
Oh, it's on.
SCV ready.
Ready for dust-off.
SCV ready.
Let's have a blast.
Ready for dust-off.
Gangway.
That is, those depots coming together. I do appreciate, so, a lot of new players. This is the FPS player, by the way. The FPS player of, like, spray and pray, alright? You know, many new players are like, I'm gonna line my depots up in perfect 4x4 grids, just like in Age of Empires 2, the first one. No. We're gonna get those. While we might not need the depots, we're gonna get them done. That's the depot corner over there.
Oh, good. Now I have your attention.
Killblaze is chilling for 20 months.
I do like how we have two different command center hotkeys, which is an original way. It's not the best way, but it's still an original way of doing it. Thank you, Fit Fox.
Are you kidding me right now?
It is. He has come to a worse,
Still no
but
replay, but
this
you
is
know.
a. You could tell this was an original experience here. Like he worked out. Okay. So right now, Daniel is chilling with 50 more supply. Mostly A-clicking. Alright.
Liberation.
So, I want to point something out. One, that's not his stairs. Two, notice how he attacked you into the siege tanks. Into your siege tanks. Now imagine if you were attacking into his siege tanks, that it might go, because he's also Terran. That means he could have similar units. So, you want them to go up the stairs first. And if they don't attack up your stairs, you go outside. Alright? You go outside. Touch grass. No, there's very little grass on these maps. You take another base. You keep adding areas with stairs until they have to attack into them. Don't go to their stairs. Have them come to you. The defender's advantage. It's like they're peeking a corner, okay? And they don't have so much ping that it actually ruins everything. That they're peeking a corner, but you're watching that corner. You'll get the headshot, bro. You can clutch this. You want to be careful. If you peek their corner, you got to make sure you got those flicks. And let's be honest here. Do you? Because when you try to go up a ramp, you do not have vision of what's happening at the top of the ramp because they have the high ground, as we've learned in many ways. Very hard to deal with. But still, a pretty decent army behind it, I will say. But you're going up his stairs, bro. And he's staring you down. You notice how difficult. You might actually win this one, but that was a rough fight right there. So in general, you can use... So is this why every bronze player playing against the AI ends up building their depots like this? Look at this. I mean... People play the AI so much they become it. Oh my.
Mineral field depleted.
Ready for dust-off.
Wow, it's really not tapping out. Or we're not accepting... There it is. Yeah, there you go. Honestly, if I was judging that as a silver player... If I was judging that as a silver player with no other context... Well, I'd give it a B. Because if there were any hotkeys for barracks,
Donation.
we put all our command centers
Hands-on
together.
Pack just donated $15.
Well then, guess what?
Would you say
We're
you
much of the-
love-hate relationships with your fans?
I would say I have very little relationship with my fans. But, of course, it might not work both ways. You know what? Daniel? He's on the right track. He's obviously enthusiastic. But keep it up. All right. Okay, this is the part where I have this opportunity. I've achieved Grandmaster as random. For now, in the beginning of the season. Where not as many people have played. So please clap. And know that you're getting Grandmaster level advice here. And with that,
Are you kidding me right now?
Something
we move
I've run
into
out of
the
things
paid.
to say.
Daniel paid in his passion and his enthusiasm. But the rest of you have to pay good old-fashioned dollars. Or the equivalent. So, we do have a Diamond Terran.
25 months.
It's not dollars, you said so. I said the equivalent. From Miles is a Diamond Terran, so a little higher level here. Diamond Terrans, well known for their enthusiasm as well. That is where we'll start tonight. And you know what? We got to add it to the Angry Coach tracker. It was all right. And I got to add an expert tab. We had one expert tonight. So, thank you, Daniel, again.
Donation confirmed.
Snake,
Up 170
this is a good
just
faith
donated
ledger to hold my spot while I get my affairs in order.
Consider this a good faith
Once
ledger to hold
we
my spot while
get
I
through the
my affairs
litigation,
in order.
That's not okay. That is moving on.
Additional supply depots required.
Bless you. BYH is of course bless your heart, which means bless your heart.
SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready.
No SCV scout. A very no. All right. No one else gets the same level of leeway Daniel does. I could not have been angrier at Daniel than Daniel was obviously angry at himself. But you, my friend, what the fuck is this? No SCV scout? Walling on the low ground? Are we just expediting the process of becoming Maru, where it's like, this douchebag went pool first, and therefore he's a nasty trickster, and he doesn't deserve to win, even though he will, because I did everything wrong. That's where we are now?
Man center.
2 depots. I hate it. It's horrible. Learn a build.
SCV ready.
And then the bunker. Like, this is just a waste of money and time. Building 0 SCVs. The orbital's done. It's not like you don't have the money. You're microing your fucking Reaper over here. This is ostensibly Diamond. Oh yeah, by the way, we have the ranges. Thank you. I'm calling out Pig for this. Pig actually provided this site. I will link it in the chat. Sheba, make an MMR range command, please, and say hello to Sheba. But this site, apparently, for at least North America, so the plot thickens. While everyone in terms of league is placed Bronze Masters or GM, apparently the API, but just for NA, actually shows you where the range is supposed to be. So the only issue right now is the cosmetic overlay of your league logo. The API actually knows where the leagues are supposed to be. We just need Bob to get another lunch break to be able to plug in the right leagues with the right numbers. Because the numbers are actually there. This is for this season right now. It's not for last season. It's for this season. The information directly from the ladder. So anyways, here's your range. What, if it's ever fixed, I will be issuing field promotions or demotions. There's a gap between Diamond 1 and Master 3. That's the Twilight Zone. That's High Diamond, Low Masters. All right? A lot of people thought it was a made-up area. It's actually just for all those players who aren't good enough to be Masters, but I have played enough games, we'll get them out of Diamond. Yeah, what the fuck? Anyways, that is the least of the issues. What I'm trying to say is our Terran player here needs to stop microing their fucking Reaper and go learn a build. Go check out, like, Daniel had a better opener than you. And that's saying something. At least Daniel tried to follow a build. You're over here microing like it's actually something you're capable of doing. Oh, what do we have here? Oh my. We're getting there.
Donation confirmed.
Snakehub 117 just donated $10.80. This completes my donation. Here are relevant builds and timestamps. I am Protoss. Don't pay attention to my off-res replays. PVZCIA and
Cool. Building another depot. What did you see? Tell me what you saw, Miles. What did you see that you needed another depot? Was he going to come across the map and try to kill you right now? What's the point of a Reaper? The entire point. I'll answer that. He was Zerg. He was Zerg. The existential dread of Zerg? Alright, cool. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. This is... If you don't fix this, you're not getting any further. We're done with this. Moving on.
Get the fuck out of here!
If you can't fix the existential threat of Zerg fucking up your build, I have nothing for you. No wall or wall differently? That's not my job to help you with. Ben! Ben! Is Ben here? Oh yeah, shame on you, by the way. Shame on you. Not Ben, yet.
Shame. Shame.
We spent so much time on Daniel, we need to speed through the rest, otherwise we'll never be done, and I'll never be able to cast again because my voice will be ripped out of my throat by your ineptitudes. So we have bronze versus... There's a platinum player in there. Alright. Ben is... Let's actually look at the MMRs here. Ben, 2,800. Let's translate. Platinum. This music isn't angry enough. Give me the Legacy of the Void soundtrack. The Legacy of the Void soundtrack is angry. There you go. And Protoss. There you go. I'm so nervous. You should be. I feel like a lot of people have forgotten it's angry coach. And that's my fault. That's my fault. I do apologize. They're like, oh, it's mildly sarcastic, coach. No, fuck you. Alright. While I still have that Grandmaster badge, I can pretend to be even more superior to you. For the next day or two. And we're gonna take full goddamn advantage of it. If Miles is mad about it, you should have learned how to wall off correctly. It's not that... What the fuck, Ben? Just don't click anything. Stop trying to split your probes. I don't care what Vibe says on his stupid-ass guide where he's like, no, you need to split your workers so that way you get 12 more minerals. You already lost 12 minerals by trying to click them. Yes, at the Masters level, doing a probe split and making sure you have them on the close patches might matter. But making sure that your brain cells are close enough together to get a single thought across is probably your major concern at this point. Oh yeah, we're looking, I went into caster mode and I started following the probe so that way I could expand on that point further. But this is Angry Coach, we follow your camera. Is that a dog? Yeah, the dog is the only person on this screen that has not fucked up yet. Yeah, apparently Ben was bragging, and by bragging I mean reminding us of the fact that he was the one who had a Nexus on the 7 key. As like a backup hotkey. Like that was going to be helpful information. Like I'm special. I fuck up in a very particular way. Shout out to Ben for that.
Carrier has arrived.
Thank you, Miles. Another matchup besides TVZ? Sure. I mean, you paid me.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?
Winter, would you mind looking at something besides TVZ? Despite the disaster you saw, it's my best matchup. Could use advice on others.
Yeah, I'm sure it goes fine. But remember, Silver can beat Platinum players, and she's played 5 games in the last year. Okay, so if you're Platinum, and you're over here thinking like you got a big brain build and need to react to scouting information, remember, 40 APM, no hotkeys, and 6 pylon opener can still end up with something competent as long as you don't panic and you build workers.
Our pylon is under attack.
This is why when you finish the Cyber Core, you build a unit. Alright. Ben. If you can tell me on the first try why you got this strike, I'm taking it away. If anyone helps him, they get a strike. And that we'll figure out what that means. Because I badly sidestepped my probe? Thank you. Lucky Leaf fucking it up. Leaf was right. Or Leif, or however the fuck you say that. But thankfully, Ben didn't pay attention. I sidestepped my probe? No, you didn't build any. A Reaper comes in, therefore, every concern is eliminated. I must panic. There's nothing else to do. Sidestep my probe? You can't step at all. They don't have feet. You didn't build any probes. You have plenty of money to build probes. Your pylon's not in the right spot to build a shield battery, in case that was one way to defend the Reaper in the mineral line. Pylons, it's not an artistic interpretation of where you put a pylon. Okay, how many times do we have to go over how poor your pylon efficiency and necessary infrastructure safety is? Jimmy, bring up the graphics screen. We pay good money for this. The pylon efficiency and necessary infrastructure safety. Yours sucks. That is not correct. It's in the wrong spot.
For every probe lost this day, or any builder,
and
you know.
Even despite, like, it's not like you're putting, there's nothing else happening. The Reaper, which happens in 70% of games, give or take, it's a Reaper. Every Terran, give or take, builds a fucking Reaper.
Molly just donated $15.
But oh my god, it's a Reaper! There's a unit in my base. This happens every time. This happens every Protoss versus Terran. If you can't handle a single Reaper being in your base by like the 50th Protoss versus Terran this year, well then, you need a lesson in object permanence. Alright, well that's certainly a way of building the gateways. That's certainly a pylon location. You're like, well, Winter, where should I put my pylons? It's not like I have literally hours of playing Protoss. You might be like, well, you haven't gotten to Platinum in the low APM challenge for Protoss. 1, not true. And 2, in Silver League, we go over pylon placements. Why are you sneaking in with your observer like it's a fucking overlord? Just send it to the front. Like here. Something, something. Sentries. What is this? Okay, stop. So we've spent all this time scouting. Yeah, he has barracks, he has a factory, whatever. Let's worry about ourselves. I think I remember. I'm gonna get yelled at. There you go, thinking again. Oh, what the fuck what is this? Where are those zealots going? It's like, well, I see in a lot of pro games, people go for zealot counterattacks. You wanna... Yeah, there's a few extra details we're missing. Like, having a third, having charge, your opponent moving out, having any upgrades, having any other units. It's like, yes, but... Here we go. We got the fucking Protoss stew bowl here. What do we got in here? We got fucking Forge at some time. Forge. And we got Twilight. We got, oh, scouting. We have... Oh my god. Run by. We have cannons. More gates. Alright. We'll just throw them in there. Alright, stir it around. And then we'll see what we get. Alright. Very exciting. Do you have a stylus? How are you that good? Because I can use my mouse to do things instead of whatever the fuck these pylon placements are, it's not that hard. Did you actually see this coming? Also, what the fuck is a Hellion drop? I think the Zealots might have seen it, but having the Stalkers in the main was the first not dumb thing you've done. Of course, you're supply block, but I think he's about to help you with that. Thank you, Shadow. Also,
Shadowdrift's just chilling for 19 months.
You built pylons on the edge of your base. How many times do we have to go over this? All right. You built pylons on the edge of your base, like for scouting, but they weren't on the edge of your base. Pylon efficiency. All right. Like, build them on the edge of your base. You can see where it is. Take, like, it. Okay, here you go. We're gonna move these pylons. We're gonna put them here. Put this pylon here. It's not that. This pylon here. Ta-da! Screenshot. Clip. What the fuck? Take a picture with your phone. Like people do. Break my fucking brain. I made a meme for this angry coach. I did an advertising meme, like every corporation loves to pretend they can do. So tell me what you think of my advertising meme. Ben. Where's your observer going? No. It's an amazing one. It's directly... Do you guys not look at the fucking minimap? I already know the answer to that. The observer's coming home. Gotta make sure we know where that meta... Here come the zealots as well. Everyone's coming home. How exciting. Now we need shield batteries. We need to lock down the mineral line after the Hellions are dead. You killed the Hellions. There are no more Hellions. If you put your pylons in decent spots, you could build shield batteries in decent places as well, but... Kinda hope he doesn't notice the 2 idle probes. 1, bullshit. Alright? You wouldn't have said it if you didn't want me to notice. And of your problems, that is by far the least. You have 600 minerals. You're making multiple probes of shield batteries that are gonna do jack shit. And you're over here like, I have 2 idle probes. Fuck you! It was 10 seconds of 2 idle probes. I didn't point it out because it wasn't worth, but thank you for telling me where your priorities are. I think he's complimenting you. Yeah, definitely complimenting you. Your opponent is getting high-sec auto... I want to point out, you lose this game. You lose this game to an opponent who's building depots like Daniel and building high-sec auto-tracking with Stimpack. I'm excited to see how you pull that one off. Get the stew out, Jimmy! What are we putting in the stew this time? Oh, there's the forge. And then, do you see, if you had an observer, we'd see the mines. But will you get, do you see the mines? Do you see them? The observer doesn't yet. And there goes the observer and the stalkers. You got hit by a tank before walking into the mines. And you still were like, this is the place to be. Beautiful. Yes, nailed it. Oh, walk! Walk, you stupid idiot. What the fuck? If your probe is still alive and that, just walk home. I love this existential panic we have here. This is beautiful. This is why you're fucking platinum. Like, this is an obligatory... I don't even want to give you a strike for this, because this is so obviously dumb and panicky. It feels bad. It feels like a... Like, I'm holding back a first grader, because they don't understand how anything works. Like... I don't understand, like, 1, that's not a super pylon. 2, what about having multiple Widow Mines, a Liberator, and tanks made you think an impending air attack was happening? Add it to the stew. Add in spotter pylons for no reason whatsoever. And also building a bunch of stalkers for similar reasons. And then, of course, getting attacked. So, he attacked you at your natural with a fucking Liberator before. You lost probes. So, you build a bunch of shit in your main. Spotter pylons to the left side, and he just attacks your natural again. Like, I don't feel the need to dwell on this. It's so obviously stupid. Like, do you know that there are 2 parts of the map? Like, do you understand that he could have just gone that way? Because we didn't figure that out after the first time. You're still not building any spotter pylons there. Like, you're still... He's attacked you now twice from the same angle. And we're still defending the main. Oh, there we go. No, okay. This is... Like, I want to turn it off right now because it's so bad. You're just building stalkers. Like, he's built 2 liberators. And suddenly your entire unit composition is stalkers. Yes, with some colossi. We're going blink. Alright, well, at this point, the Liberators do seem to be quite a commitment. Alright.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's not good. It's not good. Thankfully, attacks, and now we just speed through the rest, because there's too much going wrong here. We're attacking in the siege tanks, he attacked in the colossi, we attack in the siege tanks, we forget that liberators exist. He forgets that sieging up in the right spot exists, like... We lose all the colossi, you recall dead units again. Archons exist, rage quit, no GG. Where's my red card? What a bitch. Shame on you. I'm surprised you got to platinum.
That is allowed. I tried to implement your coaching. Also just making up for how much content I've enjoyed and never paid for less than 3.
It's a C-. It's a... You are busy countering things that don't exist. And then once you forget what you're doing, you go back to a terrible build anyways. So no part of this was good. Like, every part was bad, just in varying amounts. So,
Shame.
like, the build itself was not terrible, but the pylon placements, the timing, the unit control, the decision making, all were bad. So, yeah, that was not good. Shame on you. Next. And also shame on Twitch chat for not appreciating my literally perfect meme. They don't understand art.
Carrier has arrived.
And his name is John C.
$100 in biddies. Like 300 foxes, I think may understand art. It's possible.
Just wanted to leave this here.
Wait, whoa. There's a YouTube video coming up soon. We're not there yet. I don't know. Whenever Dash Hype is back, we're getting a his, but I don't know which one this is. Dat Man Dan. Wait. Is that you? Daniel? I don't think so. Who is this? The Ducky Dan. It's bugged. I think I'm silver. No, based on 2800 MMR. Once again, we'll translate. Platinum 3. Is it the expert? No, it isn't. It is not. We're not going to worry about ZVZ for now. We'll, the game against Final Fantasy XIV Cat Girl. That'll be the one. Looks like something goes horribly wrong. Classic Protoss name. So this is Platinum Zerg, which... Wonder if I can get an IOU for a replay? Okay. As much as I appreciate your biddies and your money, here's a helpful build order. If you need money for an upgrade, don't spend it. Because then you won't have the money for the upgrade. That's my free advice. Let's hope it translates. Close enough. We're missing that Overlord on 20. There we go. At least you got it. Why is there a drone under attack? You chase the probe all the way home. Don't go home with probes. It doesn't end well. They will fucking murder you.
Maybe you should bump up the price. Pick one, I guess.
No, I'm just bumping up the speed at which we get through replays. Thank you, Bomb. And Foxes again. We're just gonna lower the quality instead of the quantity.
Carrier has arrived.
And his name is John.
Thank you, Foxes.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now?
Okay.
Level 8 trade.
Alright. There's nothing else to see. He expanded, don't think. You know, I appreciate the going for drones here. We're slowly getting everything. Honestly, not horrible. Damn! Dan, I do appreciate the kind of ignoring and just going for 60... How many drones we got? 60 drones? Close enough. Now you gotta make roaches. Not 4 overseers. It's a bit much. Those cost gas. Okay, we're getting off track. You're at 113, not 200 supply, Dan. At 200 supply is when you get everything else. Not 113 supply. You're not done. You need to build. You have 12 larvae and should have more. Build units. Thank you. Taking the long path. No, you don't. This is not. You saw it building Immortals and Stalkers. This is a max out situation. That's about the best you can get there. Hey, you gotta be careful with the rally points on this map. Oh, dude. Oh my fucking god. So you wonder why you lose the game. Don't get fancy if you can't, like, you got in from one direction. Why did you think, like, you just right-click home? Even losing all of this, so you just lose half your army because you clicked the wrong way. This is why, until you have a game-ending army, you shouldn't bother attacking, because then you'll have to think about microing at all. All you had to do was go backwards instead of forward, but that was too much for the Platinum Zerg to handle, and I'm not surprised. So this is all happening literally 3 seconds before your upgrades kick in, which is one of those perfect timings for your opponent. That was very kind of you to wait and lose your whole army right before you get all your expensive upgrades. Oh, we did it again. Wow. I thought we might attack and get some more... Nope. Yeah, that was, So the unit's lost right now. Yep. Yeah. Well, that was stupid. I mean, I'm not even giving it a strike. I'm not gonna give it a strike. I think it's more shameful if I don't. Like, that was so... It tilted over into just
Good.
pity.
Now I have your attention.
Spent brain cells is chilling for 5 months. Greetings.
Because... Yeah, we're building the Paniclings now, too. Wow. So, here you go. Don't lose your entire army because you right-clicked. That's my tip. Literally, if you just didn't control your army, you would have done better. That's most of Zerg, to be honest. Is if your macro's decent enough, just don't look at your army. Ever. If you had just sat there and let your army fight, it wouldn't have won, but it would have killed like half of his army, instead of trying to right-click past and leaving everything alive. So stop controlling your units, they know better than you. And veto Blackburn. That's the real advice. Veto Blackburn. There, you can't handle this advanced geometry. So, what was angling towards like a B plus becomes a C plus because that was so dramatically terrible. The build was pretty good. Like, the 60-something drones, up to 4 hatches, decent larva injects and creep spread without banking a ton of money, and then you just lost your entire fucking army. So, it's alright, but oh my god. Like, the winning move was literally no move at all. Thank you, Pebble Parodi. Peb Parodi. Filth Cauldron. But also shame. It's not even shame. It's pity.
Pepperoni has gifted 5 subs to
Oh,
viewers.
Pepperoni and $7.99 large
Now I
2-topping
have your
pizza and Filth Cauldron, all
is chilling for 9
subscribing.
months.
So, unrelated?
New subscriber detected.
$7.99 large 2-topping pizzas chillin' for 32 months.
Non-salty
Pizza time.
Terran. Non-salty Terran. Are you gonna start by lying? Are you also known as confused? There is some lore. Yes. You pick a game. You get supply blocked for like 3 minutes straight, and then you win the game. And you're not subscribed. So I assume this is here to show off what you think is entertaining, but instead appeals to your very fragile ego as opposed to actually learning anything, because we are at Diamond 3, maybe Diamond 2, that area where Terrans think they've figured it out, but they're still actually confused, which is the most honesty you've really had so far. But this is from a clan war versus Pigpan. All right. Okay. So, what does that have to do with anything? I played pretty sloppy this game. I don't know, only 2 minutes of supply block in a row. Is the lore? It's like, the lore is that it was a more stressful game than usual. Game is hard.
SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready.
Did you pick the map?
You want a piece of me, boy? SCV ready.
He picked it.
SCV ready.
The first 3 minutes are good. No mistakes I can see.
Ready.
Yet. Though, are we going mech? I went Raven. Well, there's a mistake. But I shouldn't have. Well. Why are you going Raven like you're gonna control a Raven? It's arguable in TVT at this level. Let alone TVZ. You know battle cruisers exist. That's not a joke. Battle cruisers are... I don't think a battle cruiser bio opener is a bad diamond build at all. Because show me one diamond Zerg who gives a proportional response to a battle cruiser. It's either 15 spore crawlers and a spire or losing 20 drones. MBC's 2 games.
One in just donated $15. Been having trouble with macro lately. I have a lot of trouble TVP
Banshees, not
against
BCs. Then go BCs. Don't go so you're like, I'm gonna put the even more fragile Starport Tech Lab heavy gas unit. That's the choice. One that takes even more micro. Overall, it's pretty good. You're definitely punching above your weight if that's your actual MMR. I bet you suck in TVP. That's my assumption here. Like, this is a near perfect... I mean, the Raven is the wrong choice, but the build is not bad. It's actually, like, near perfect. My worst matchup is TVT? Yeah, that's fucking Terrans. This is where I start getting sloppy. No plan survives contact with the enemy. That Raven screwing everything up by existing.
Ready for dust off.
And then it dies, which really solves that problem. Honestly, probably best case scenario was the Raven just dying. Because we both know it wasn't going to be microed. Also, let's wall off the natural with depots or one of the NG bays. Come on. You're asking to lose a bunch of SCVs? Alright, an armory. So at this point, it's not clear. Against a evenly matched macro player, you wouldn't be so clearly ahead. But I begrudgingly acknowledge this is very solid. Look at his minerals. +2 attack is late. I am pretty sure if you just A-moved and burrowed the mines, it would have gone better than whatever the fuck that was.
This better be good.
I thought I built my second eBay, but I didn't, so it was late. No, it wasn't. You had 2 eBays, and you've had them for quite a while. You can start +2 weapons before +1 armor is done. It's been there. Like, you've been... The second eBay was done well before the armory was. Ah, here we go. It's drop o'clock. Yes, but that would throw off my rhythms. You know my feelings on dropping for the sake of drops. You had the army to win the game. It's just you anti-microed. This is why you build Marauders. You build Marauders, so that way they can sacrifice themselves. Because unless he actually right-clicks the banelings, which I doubt, The Marauders are to soak the Banelings because he's going to A move, and you know it.
More supply depots.
Away we go.
Mineral field depleted. Additional supply depots required.
So this is giving him the opportunity to actually catch up here when you do this. Well, at least we spent some. I do like that very Byun style. We'll just keep building Marines, even though there are lurkers, and hopefully it'll eventually work. If somehow I survive, we may consider ghosts eventually.
Supply depots insufficient. Additional
Those minerals are being saved to send Marines to college. They should go to the goddamn Ghost Academy and learn to be useful.
upgrade completed.
There we are.
Command center upgraded. Add on.
The summary is the army's been large enough to win the game multiple times, but if you don't build Marauders, Ghosts, Tanks, or Liberators, which sounds like a lot of things to not build, but we managed to avoid all of them, then you do make it very hard on yourself. Oh yes. The good old splitting against lurkers. Looks like it's working anyways.
Mineral cluster expended.
Let's see those rapid fire snipes. On the 7? Do you actually use 7 or is that a different key? That's a mouse button? Oh, wow.
Mineral field exhausted.
Do you have snipe on rapid fire? You know the magic wand strat. For Diamond 3 or 2, it's a A-. I mean, the build was near perfect, but then it seems like you were thinking too hard. Classic Terran issue. Instead of doing. What do? Stop trying to be creative. Creativity's for Protoss. That's pretty much it. The key to Terran is doing exactly the same thing over and over. And doing it slightly more perfectly each time. That is the beauty of Terran. Because there's not a lot of room for deviation because of how Terran production works. So either you go for some crazy, weird all-in, or you refine what everyone already does slightly better. You said your worst matchup is TVT, yet you sent me a TVZ, which you seem to have a pretty good grasp of. So I can't help you, and your fragile ego is going to suffer for that. Or at least it will thank you, but your letter points might not. It's gray. Is a diamond Protoss. Ah, yes, the supply blocks of the early game. Let us see. I always died at nasty tricks. Not cheese, nasty tricks. And those are too short to launch. I mean, seeing your early game, even in a game you win, and knowing whether you have the right build. There is a correct build. There is a very small range of correct builds in TVT. It's even narrower than TVZ, because TVZ you have some options of exactly like 111, 3CC. No, you need effectively 3 Reapers and either 2 Hellions or a quick Cyclone, but usually 2 Hellions. And if you're not getting those in a timely manner, then you will lose increasingly much to players who are cheesing you. And sometimes you will lose to proxy Rex, but that's a whole different thing. Anyways. Wait, are we looking... You changed your name to Chinzilla. Alright. Here we are. Protoss versus Zerg Diamond 2. Proxy 2-Rax Marauder gets me every time. If it gets you every time, SCV Scout. Before building a command center on the low ground. Proxy 2-Rax Marauder gets you every time. I do, but I don't know if it's Reapers or Marauders. Does it matter? You build a bunker at the ramp, and then you build a bunker on the high ground. I mean, you could scout for the proxy Rex then, too. You build a bunker here, and then you build a bunker here. 2 bunkers. You can get 75% of your money back later. If they have no barracks in their base, the least you can do is build a bunker. No, you're saying you're building Hellions. No, build a fucking bunker and put Reapers and or Marines in it.
Follower. Is that all?
MCCONN is chilling for 58
Because
months.
once you know it's a proxy Rex, at that point, teching up while having bunkers. But bunkers cost money. So does building multiple barracks on the other opponent's side of the map. Okay. Well, it's a pull first. Now, does he have gas? Does he have gas? Who cares? Does he have gas? Not important. Seven. The number is 7 probes. More if you really want to... 7 probes will kill it before it finishes with the minimum investment. Of course, a zealot helps. Okay. The most important part of this is not forgetting your second pylon, so that way you can actually build units. If you forget your second pylon... which you already have at this point. It's already too late. Alright. This is not the matchup it most applies to, but... Alright. Yes, yes. It's been a bit, because I think I drove it through the heads of too many people to build a second pylon, so it's really ruined the effect. But we're still gonna go for it anyways. And it's supposed to be a PvT build, but rehashing content. 14 pylon, 16 probe, chrono boost, build a gate, scout with the probe, 17 assimilator, 2 more probes, 19 probe can go down the ramp. If he's already there, build a cyber core instead. Now 21 gas, 21 pylon, 22 if you won't forget, but you will forget, so stop fucking around. On the other side, does he have a gas? Yes, then you need maybe 2 build units. But if he has a Rex and just 1 gas, you're fine. Stop freaking out. Where's your second pylon? You need a pylon. You are platinum. Do you want to be diamond? Well, guess what? Fuck you. Build a second pylon. Where's your second pylon? You need a second pylon. Build a second pylon. Good talk. Where's your second pylon? I would say it's the most important. Most important thing you need when your opponent is building Zerglings and you have a hatchery in your base is to be able to build more units. Especially with the cyber core finishing. But you can't build a second zealot because you didn't build a pylon. You're a solid, nearly a zealot build time behind on that. And that is going to make this a lot more difficult. A pylon build time of zealot definitely helps. Wait, why the fuck is that not a cyber core? What the fuck? You had plenty of time to not fuck this up. But yet here we are. Like, the cyber core, you have gas. You've been mining gas. If that was a cyber core, I'd say you're in an okay spot. You've handled it fine. But you built 3 gateways. So, like, this is another one of those, like, this is obviously fucked. Like, are you gonna lose the gates? Oh my god. You know, that's probably... No, don't rebuild a gate. What do you think? Like, so, why do you scout if he has gas? If he has no gas, then it's just slow Zerglings. You don't need a wall, you need a nexus. Slow Zerglings are not scary until you panic because slow Zerglings exist. The existential threat of Zerg is more important than the actual threat. You saw a pull and everything else went out the window, which is most of the reason to go for an early pull at this level. Because you know they're going to have a mental breakdown. If you had decisively scouted whether he had gas early, you could go across the map with the Zealots. At least 2 of them. Don't. At least now you're acknowledging the situation. Fine. What the fuck? Is this some of the stupid... I want to try using... Alright, we got a few Zoomers out there. Tell me if I'm using this term correctly. What is this yee-yee-ass shit right here? And if I'm offending someone, let it be everyone over the age of 25. Because what the fuck are you doing? Remember, if you want to be creative, go play Protoss. But, I mean, no cap, no cap. You're gonna let that overlord walk away like that?
Research complete.
Micro god. Oh, here we go. Oh, we're gonna go oracles. All right. Yeah. It's the problem with this is it's not necessarily terrible. It obviously is a few significant orders of I wouldn't say an order of magnitude above your skill level. It's a big commitment for someone of your capabilities, I will say. But we'll see how it goes. I thought the early game was so bad I had to do something random. Ah. Well, you were wrong. Stop worrying about your opponent. Fuck out of here. Of course, you did build the Stargate in possibly the most obvious location to ever build a Stargate as well. Micro God. So, despite your best efforts, you are winning the game because the Zerg is just as dumb as you. This is why Diamond Terrans have such a smug sense of superiority, is because they do actually know what they're doing. They've spent more time studying like build orders and strategies and then fucking it all up when they actually have to micro. Whereas you over here is like, I'm gonna wall off with 3 gates against slowlings and then proxy a Stargate while faking a robo. And you know what the flowchart is for Zerg? Enemy. Alright? Exist. Alright. Queens. The fuck did you think we was gonna have? There's your flow chart. There's your Zerg chart. So when you're doing late ass oracles like this, what did you think the options were? Occasionally you'll get someone who hasn't played since Wings of Liberty and thinks queens are still mediocre. And they'll build, like this guy built 2 spine crawlers and had them out there as a testament to the strength of Zerg in general. I don't know what they're doing there, but like, late oracles. Ah yes, but if I build a Void Ray now, he won't be able to see how many more Void Rays I build, and that's the real key here. I just want to point out, which is something you probably very unlikely to know, you were ahead in workers after the oracles. You could have expanded and been fine, but instead, here we are. You have a friend? That's why you don't play StarCraft. And probably why they suck. Like, you keep thinking you have to all in. Just take a goddamn third. You've had the money for the last, you know, half the game. You still have enough. You still have enough to take a third and do all this stupid shit. You just don't, you coward. This looks like Zerg Pro matches to me, to be honest. This is classic versus rogue all over again. Instead of just, you know, playing it out, I'm gonna try to get too much done against exactly what I know is happening. It's like, just take a base. Take a base. I've never taken a third in my career. That is way too many screens to move. Who would have thought that the opponent, after killing an army, would attack? I can't believe this has happened. This is one of the dumber games I've ever seen, but even for Protoss at this level. The problem here, I think, is Chinzilla has an idea of what the game's supposed to look like. They have enough grounding in reality to let that ruin their creativity. I'm talking in third person because at this point, why not? Like, I'm not talking directly to Chinzilla because I don't think it'll get through. But, like, there's an idea of what you're supposed to do, which is tainting the beautiful purity of creativity that we would have had and probably did have up through Platinum. But here we are trying to think again, and that's, well, it's not going great. So, what is the best case scenario? If he has an army that can beat either part of your army, what is the best case scenario? We knock him down to the same amount of bases and then he attacks? Like, there is no good outcome to either of these attacks. Either we lose half the army, or we lose the entire army. Those are the options. Like, neither of those are ideal options. Got the lair, though, so that was real value. What am I watching? Imagine having any other units. God. Fucking Protoss. He wasn't even losing. Yeah, you don't... Fuck, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here! This fucking shit right here. He could have easily built 20 more roaches and just run you over, but... He's rage quitting because someone with 69 IQ and APM managed to win. And that is partially the cheesy, nasty trickster Zerg's fault. But this was so stupid, and I'm glad that the Protoss handicap is working out for you. Shame on you.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
For Diamond 3, that was AC. I can see why you got to Diamond, but at this rate, enjoy your stay. Anzo Impact has 0 games in the last 24 hours. Is a arguably Diamond Terran. Alright, we'll look at the... Wow. So, there is no supply block past 10 minutes here. So, let's see. You were supply blocked for 3 minutes out of the first 10. So, we're going to be starting it out with 1 strike. I think for every 25% of a key part of the match you are supply blocked, that deserves a strike. Alright, let's take a look. I usually play macro. I'm sure you think that, Mr. Gray. I'm sure that's what you tell yourself at night. I usually play macro. Usually, I don't do so much damage with my attacks, and I'm forced to consider expanding.
SCV ready.
So wait. Was this actually diamond? Yeah, 3,500. Let's bring up the, Oh, so that's kind of diamond 2-ish.
Ready. SCV ready.
No scout, because why would we want to know if our opponent is expanding or building a gateway on our side of the map? Classic. Everyone thinks they're a Maru, but they should be aiming for Cure.
Command center upgraded.
SCV ready.
Additional supply.
A Hellion?
Lead add-on. Command center upgraded.
New
Artanis is
subscriber
Terran?
detected.
Thank you, Zitch.
Zitch Light is chillin' for 12 months. Happy birthday.
Scouting the
Saga
Twilight,
Begins.
losing the Reaper, best case scenario. Okay. Are you building Hellions? We're doing a Hellion drop. Alright, which nerd-ass Terran came out with a build order for this in the last 3 months? Anslow.
Ready for dust off.
What a masterful bait. Pull everything out of the bunker, bait the stalkers you didn't even know were there in, kill one of them, and force a recall. Genius. Wow, masterclass.
Add-on complete.
So now we're supply blocked, but at least trying to deal with it. Nope, the Hellions can't get in. Don't, just move along. Now target the battery! Or the pylon, I guess. No, but he can reshield the pylon. Oh my. What? Those are probes! Kill the fucking probes! It's just why are you scared of probes? What the fuck? You can win the game right here with this medevac. This game is won, actually. As much as I hate the build because it encourages you to micro while forgetting everything else at home, could be building stim, combat shield, 2 marauders, and a siege tank, no engineering base. At least a 3rd base is happening. You could win the game with this medevac. This medevac standing there with 7 marines in a choke point and no shield battery wins the fucking game. But it's a classic Terran move to, instead of winning the game, to think too hard, panic, and then remember to macro and pretend like they never missed 4 steps. Why are we... Come back! Yeah, drop those out! Alright! Yeah, the panic pickup was real. Delayed blink. No, you can fight the star... You know what? Here we go. Thinking again. I mean, playing it semi-safe is fine, but literally not microing would have done significantly better here. Well, now he has enough. That's not a real Phoenix. Engineering bay. No, do you need the money? Come on.
Command center upgraded.
I always love the salvaging bunkers. Like, that's gonna be... I would love to see a remake on the bunker. That's just the insult to the injury. Why did we salvage it? I don't know. Can you do the takeover replay? You can't make an AI take over the opponent, unfortunately. That would be kind of cool. But they just sit there like a player has left the game if I take over, unfortunately. I'd have to have someone else take over for the other player.
Ready for dust off.
So, the Blink Stalkers we knew were coming, blinked into the main, which is the... I do love the army hotkeys we're using. A very minimalist style of just not fucking trying. How did the Raven go? Oh, Raven died immediately to Blink Stalkers. Alright. I do like the idea of a Raven. On paper, the Raven is good, and I'm sure that's what whatever shitty build order we're following told you. But when you have 0 control groups, it is not as good.
Base is under siege. The enemy is attacked.
Not sure what the missile turrets are for, as there have been no air units. Just hallucinated phoenixes. We are stimming across the map. You built 2 missile turrets, 3 missile turrets, not even in good spots in the main. And then you won't build one at the front to stop yourself from doing a Venn dia scan? My god. It was a hallucinated phoenix. That's how he got in. He doesn't even have a robo. Not that we can necessarily know that. And also, what would having an observer tell him? Nothing useful. Oh my god, we're so scared of Protoss existing. That's what's happening here. This is the I'm scared of everything that Protoss has ever stood for. This is very classic Diamond Terran. Like, instead of realizing if I just focus on building my army and not panicking, like 5 turrets, multiple scans for observers, and also, why do you scan for observers if you're not moving out? It's just a waste of even more money. Like, that way he doesn't know if I'm moving out. It's like, well, then he'll send another observer if you don't move out, and we'll be back where we started. So that's pretty good positioning. Pretty solid army. Pre-splitting. Now would be a good time for that scan. Wow. Kind of really well done. That was really well done. Like, that's almost perfect how it was handled. So now this is less perfect, queuing up hundreds, like spending money, but mostly in barracks production queued up. So that's way less than perfect, but it's better than not building anything at all. All right. And then instead of just continue, so you won the ground fight. We won the fight on the ground. We killed most of the ground army. So instead of continuing to win on the ground, we're going to pick up a bite-sized portion of the army and go to the main. All right, Byun. Fucking genius.
Get the fuck out of here!
Literally what I make fun of even in pro games. And every single Diamond Terran in Angry Coach. That was the most egregious and perfect example that I could ask for. All you have to do is keep winning. Literally a move at that point. All his units died. All he can do is warp in and maybe have, if he's lucky, a robo unit or 2. But instead, we pick up and go for the main for some fucking reason. No, multiple medevacs got shot down, full of units, and the rest of the army also died. So that's what happened. That was how that ended. So, if you want to look at the graph, it was, I believe, this moment around there, where instead of having the huge army value, or I'm sorry, the other way around. Ah, yeah, here. We win the fight, and then lose everything. And then we're behind. He still had a pretty decent army value. Warped in a bunch of Archons, all that. But nothing that... And, like, the largest army was the first one. It was very stupid. It was literally, not figuratively, that is literally what I make fun of Diamond Terrans for. I make fun of them for a lot of things, but rarely so specific as dropping and losing. Like... That is the stereotype. Exactly. Not sure all medevac died. Maybe one. It was stupid and dumb and the reason you're diamond. Otherwise, it's a B. If your instinct is to drop the main after decisively winning a ground fight, then you are dumb. A bunch of zealots and archons would have crushed me. No, you're dumb. Why would a smaller version of the same army with less splash damage, even including archons, do better? How many replays? Are you back, Dash Hype? I've held on to it. We've got... Let's mix it up with a Protoss, though. And if you're scared that you can't win a fight, you know you can go backwards and not always forward. Like, you know you're allowed to retreat and join up with the rest of your army. You don't have to continue attacking. No, Rich. Anyone who retreats will be shot on sight. Like, what? What kind of logic is that? If you're scared you can't win a fight, back off and bring your whole goddamn army. You coward. It's called a tactical withdraw. Snake Ob. Snake Ob, don't pay attention to my off-race What is this? What are you... Here are my relevant builds and timestamps. What the fuck is this? What?
Hey, hey.
Hello, hello. What up, dude?
Man, having a good day.
That's a good day.
Oh, are you getting coached by Vibe?
I'm looking forward to your day. Your good day.
Is that what's happening? Are you looking... Okay, I just played a few. No, you're over here giving me like an entire hour and a half long Vibe video. No, I'm not. This is somewhere else. No. No, but this is your reference. Okay. So if you're like, if I look like I'm fucking it up, this is the build I was following and then butchered. Because I am reasonably sure that Vibe does not give something... So, like, some of the advice I think Vibe gives is a little too specific. I think he gives people too much credit. He assumes that the average person is more competent than they are. And I think that's, if anything, where he makes mistakes. So that's why I try to just give very general as opposed to specific advice, because both the short-term, long-term, and general memory of your average player. I'm just assuming where we're going with this. I don't know for sure. We haven't seen yet. Oh, that's Dashy. There's Snake Up. What, you want me to... We just played a few more games. Make sure we get an updated example. Here's PvP. Here's losing to Terran. Which one? Here's losing to Protoss. A lot of losing to Protoss. This is silver. It's not silver. Let's go back to the translator. That is high platinum, low diamond. Is where we are. That PvT game was dumb. Well, the rest are PvP, so... I mean, we are around the range of it, so... This was proxy, I think. So, this was... Let's see, I just want to reference this. Let's set this up, set the scene. This was 3 whole games ago. Yeah. And so... We will see. No, it wasn't. You're wrong. So, you can't remember 3 games ago? This is like 30 minutes. So that's why I think Vibe is too accepting of people without basic, you know, mental faculties. Oh, it's Proxy Stargate. All right, you know what? Vibe, we're back. And this is really just a proxy criticism. It looks like a Proxy Stargate. So, how could you figure this out? He has one gateway, for one. Which means if you very likely could just build units and win the game. What are you... Why are you see he has one gate and one gas. Or actually you didn't see he had one gas because you didn't look for it. What is telling you you need a shield battery? He needs a shield battery. What? I don't understand. Why are we building the shield battery? Alright, there's an oracle. So... I don't know, I just didn't get what was going on. Okay. Well, what... He was probably going for some tech, and if he's going to proxy, it's going to be here. But building a shield battery on the top of your ramp doesn't make any sense. Building one in your mineral line, maybe. Building on the low ground, maybe. Attacking with your first stalkers, because he can't have 2 stalkers, because it takes 2 gateways to build 2 stalkers at the rate that 2 gateways can build 2 stalkers? I know, it sounds crazy. Maybe. Building a shield battery at the top of your ramp against someone who cannot build as many units as you. This was one of a narrow path of wrong choices you made. You managed. And then, do you... Alright. So, you managed... I don't even know where you're scouting here. Why not just scout across? What? Okay. So the summary, I think, for most people today is they can't handle maps that aren't a standard template. This is Blackburn. It's very slightly different. And most people we've seen today are incapable of handling that. So here's how you solve this. Veto Blackburn. I'm checking the third. Yeah, well... Don't. You're 4 minutes into the game. Warp Gate just finished. I don't think third base is... You already saw an Oracle! Like... What is he building out of that Stargate? Let alone, where is said Stargate? This isn't that scary. Like, getting a Void Ray or an Oracle in your base is not very scary. It's scary if, like, 3 Void Rays show up and they have shield batteries and you haven't scouted any of it. And the net? No, the most important thing... Like, imagine his base is like yours. Alright. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, because it requires, like, having any perspective. He's a Protoss. You're a Protoss. He's a Protoss. So he can have the same stuff. Follow along. Okay. Do we accept this? Since he's also a Protoss, and he's bound by the same Protoss rules, which are relatively few and far between, do you think it is realistic that he could have had an Oracle, a Void Ray, and 2 expansions? Because you, if you look at your base, have 2 gateways, a robo, and a handful of units. Do you think you need to be worried about extra expansions at this time, based on those Protoss rules that you are also bound by? There we go. Yes. So when you're Protoss and he is Protoss, he also is restricted by the fact that he's Protoss. So that way... Unlike Terrans and Zergs, the existential threat of Protoss should be slightly less scary. But what is there to fear but fear itself? And hallucinations. Okay, we now scout it. This is a terrible build, though. Because you're Protoss, as we've established. You are the one race that has kind of a built-in counter. Shield batteries and even stalkers are pretty fine against Void Rays. It's fine. You can also go Stargate and get Phoenixes. Like, the reason Void Rays, before the patch especially, were so strong were that Terran, and to an extent Zerg, but mostly Terran, just didn't have great anti-air options or defenses by the time Void Rays are in your base. But because you're Protoss, you can build things at the same time, because you're both Protoss. I hope I got the point across here. You know what? Clutch shield battery. You built it for all the wrong reasons, but at least you know you can reshield the pylon. Not sure an observer's super necessary right now. This is actually handled perfectly well. Yeah, as you can see, just having units is the counter to him doing a dumb cheese.
You actually require...
Ah, yes, the classic double Twilight build. Don't worry, I fuck it up. I'm not sure how. You're winning pretty decisively. Oh, I guess he's more committed to his cheese here. Does he have charge? Yes, he do. Yeah, because this is the kind of thing, like, you could have walked out and just killed the 1 or 2 Void Rays with your Stalkers. But, of course, as we've already seen, the existential threat of Protoss. Even you, as a Protoss, are affected by it. It's like, oh my god, cheese! Nasty tricks again! Oh, golly! Oh, woe is me! He has those Trixes all up in my base. And I still defend just fine anyways, because he did a stupid ass recall. Just go kill him! Attack! What's with all these cowards? Just attack him! Stop blinking in the charge lots! Yeah, you don't wait until he regroups and warps in again. You have Blake Stalkers. You could have blunked down and dealt with this. From the moment you had Blink, you could have Blink Stalkers, and he can't get to you with Zealots because he walled it off with shield batteries. I'm just saying, like, that could have happened for several minutes now. It's already too late because you blunked into you blonked actually. You see, this Protoss used the initiative of doing anything. Yeah, so he's also Protoss. If he has one gate, he's either doing tech or expanding. And either way, it's very unlikely he'll have more gateway units. If you are barely expanding yourself, he can't. Like, you had most of the basic idea, but obviously crumbled in a total panic. So, as Platinum-ish, it's like a B-. Because at least you had the right build. Until anything happened. And it's a B- also is minus Blackburn. Veto Blackburn. Let's stick to one map style for you. That's enough to remember. It's my first B. What was it before? I assume worse. Yeah, there's actually no other... I guess Pride of Eltaris is the closest to... Alright. Yeah, Pride of Eltaris is probably the only other map that is even remotely kind of weird. Otherwise, they're all relatively... Like, you have an option for a 3rd or 4th. It gets a little defensive, but there's option... Like, it's the only map where your pathfinding gets screwed up is Blackburn. Alright. Dashy is It says Masters, but that's unlikely. Feeling good. ZVZ versus... Let's pick the Terran. 4,000. Let's go to the translator. 4,000 Diamond 1. You even got the sweaty Terran barcodes coming in. That's how you know you've made it. The reason I'm not Masters is because everybody knows my slick build orders. Says the Diamond player. No gas. Seeming to be a little late on the whole gas idea. Alright. This is like a build straight out of 2012. I don't necessarily hate it. Is that a wall, a correct wall? I guess so.
Your foe is attacking a creep tumor.
The creep could use a little more consistency.
A new queen.
The overlords are fine. Don't know what he's doing.
The enemy has engaged your crew in combat.
That barracks is floating, which is pretty sus, bro. Dude. 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 You built the wall, too.
Your base is under attack.
Even a drone was there trying to help you. Like, it feels like insult to injury, but you can't let the Hellions get in your base, especially when both of you are doing Wings of Liberty builds. This happens way too often. So there's something in the bottom left. It's called the mini map. You see it? It looks like that. It's used to give you a little bit of extra warning, because you even set your overlords up in a pretty decent spot. So that way you have any amount of time to deal with Hellions running into your base. Well, that is not good. And I'm pretty sure you set up the wall in a way that your queen... Actually, is that a queen-tight wall? No. Oh, that makes it even worse. Well, that's bad. Like, so that's almost a GG of drones. If he hadn't gone blue flame, like the fact he went blue flame is 20. Yeah, that's like. All you had to do was jam one queen. You had the queens too, like. Yeah, it doesn't get better from here. Because now you have to use all the larvae again. There you go. Good demonstration. Your only chance is to be ridiculously greedy, by the way. Oh no. And also have those queens in position. Honestly, not a horrible recovery. It's taxing our Terran hero here. Let's just take a look. Yeah, he's got a style. You've recovered pretty well for what it is. You never got Spore 20 here, which was quite an oversight. That's going to make things not easier.
Your forces are under attack.
Yeah, you gotta build those spore crawlers. It was almost okay until... Oh, 60 drones. Yeah. You gotta get at least one. And especially after you see the Liberators. Like... Wait, did you just go back? Okay. Oh. Yeah, so... Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is really not good. Nope. Are we there? Got 94. Did we get there? Yeah, 104. Oh, jeez. I'm not convinced you've lost the game yet. Wait, did you lose the lurkers? No. I mean... It's not good. Yeah, it's bad. It's... Yeah, well, it's bad enough. I mean... You can't let the Hellions in your base, and you can't forget to build spore crawlers. And you can't have your queens all in one spot. Just most of them. So... Yeah, it's not impossible. You could have pulled something back out of this, but I don't blame you. The baseline, besides, like... It's not fun once it gets to this point. Well... I will say, while I'm not a huge fan of the no-gas build, well, if you're going to do the no-gas build, you cannot allow that to happen. There is no excuse whatsoever. Like, you deserve to lose if you let Hellions in and have no spores. Because that is when you should be most defended. The point of the no-gas is to focus all your defenses and make sure you get the largest economy. When you let Hellions in and have no spore crawlers, you're not doing that. You're just not. So for Diamond 1, it's a B-. Partially because you did, like, everything else was good. Everything besides the interactions with the units. Like, the larva management, for what it was okay. The upgrade focus. Even getting a 4th, despite the situation, that was the right instinct. But you can't lose 100 drones. That's like 95 drones too many. You could have gotten away with 5 or 10 drones lost. 100 drones too many. Wow. Yikes. This was Diamond 1. The Terran was also Diamond 1. You could tell. Super sweaty. Didn't actually... He never maxed out, by the way. Wasn't even close. He took no economic damage. And at the end of the game, he was still only at 175. Because he's too busy making pretty depot walls. And microing Liberators. So, there's a very real possibility if you have 30 more drones to easily actually fight him. What a disaster, though. Miles is back. Would you mind looking at something? Miles with his TVZ. I forget already. What we saw. Something other. You said TVT was the worst. So... Yet you have won the last 7 TVTs, so... I want to see anything else. Alright. According to this... Ah. But every Terran's Bane existing. But also Protoss. Is it Terran's leave 5 seconds in? I don't know. This is lower, much lower diamond. This is diamond 3, I believe.
SCV ready.
But diamond is quite a range.
SCV ready.
Additional supply.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
Command center upgrade.
We're just not SCV scouting. So,
Complete.
any nasty tricks, you deserve it.
SCV ready.
There's no reason not to SCV scout. Let's not pretend your build order is so perfect you need those extra like 50 minerals you would have mined. Come on. Let's not lie to ourselves here. There's a zealot. Who would have thought? If only there was some way we could have known.
SCV ready. SCV ready.
I'm not sure how we would have known, but we're gonna have to scour the archives for a message.
9360 is
So,
chilling for 9
SCV
months.
Scout, your builds aren't that good. And they're much worse if they do anything weird like every other player. You need to repair that. Like, you could have helped. Bring the Reaper back. Yeah, well, the strike is just generally not scouting plus a poor response. It was just a zealot and a stalker. You could have fought this with the Marines or a couple SCVs. Bring 2 SCVs with 4 Marines and you're fine. So this is what's happening, by the way. Fun fact. $900 minerals. There you go. Maybe put the Widow Mines in front. Oh god. Jesus Christ. Well, that's a strike. I want to watch anything but TVZ. So you didn't scout, panicked, and now have 1,700 minerals, 250 gas, building 1 medevac because anything happened. If you're so scared and panic so hard at anything happening, maybe literally all you need to do is scout whether there's a nexus. Does he build a nexus at the same time you're building a command center? It should actually start a little earlier. Is there no nexus? Well, maybe he has something else. You don't even need to know what. But if there's no nexus at the natural, as you're building a command center, you should be able to do the math. More math. Do you have over 1,000 minerals? You're fucking up.
Ready.
Spoilers, he loses this game. I just, like, when I get to pick games, it's games you lose. Especially longer games. Because if players seem like they're pretty good at macro, that means that they were just downright stupid. Which, while painful to acknowledge, and while might not appeal to your fragile, brittle ego, is the easiest thing to fix. Because if you're already building enough units to have a supply lead and then throw it all away, all you need to do is not throw it. It's easier to have that much money and spend it than to not have the money at all.
SCV ready.
Micro! Value. Okay, so at this point, you should be thinking, he has... I know, thinking, right? You have a 3rd command center. He was just finishing his natural. So either you're missing something, or you're about to win the game. What is over here? A Reaper that has been abandoned. Which was your only...
Oh, good.
Army hotkey.
Now I have your attention.
Ready for dust off.
CDQ
Were you...
and
Wait,
CP is chilling for
whoa.
25
Did you not
months.
even have that
Less than
medevac on a
3.
hotkey? Oh, wow. You're using the worst possible method, which is, I'm not using Select All Army. Winter, I'm not using Select All Army. Here's what I do. I move my fucking camera to box select or click on the medevac. So that way, I can't actually look away from the medevac and do anything else, like, I don't know, building units. And you better tell me that these are not on the 9 and 0 keys, unless you have giant hands. Because right now, you're sitting here staring at the medevac because you're not using... You know why they're called control groups? To control groups of units! It's in the name. It wasn't a trick question. So, when you don't use them, you have to stare at the unit and do essentially nothing else because you've left yourself very little in the way of options.
Ready for dust off.
Your forces are under attack. Mineral field.
You accidentally scout his hidden base. Oh my god. How long does it take? Are you about to pick up and... So the only thing you've done right this game was a total fucking accident. So at least you and this scouting medevac have a lot in common. Here we are. You see the hidden base, which also, conveniently, the Dark Shrine. I don't... So, let's go attack it. No, fuck you.
Get the fuck out of here!
If your reaction to he has a hidden Dark Shrine is build 3 missile turrets on the edge of my main, you got a long... Wait, I do go attack it. No, your first instinct was build 3 missile turrets on the edge of your main. That was, as we call it, fucking stupid. Why do I not need missile... One, you've scouted his entire base. He doesn't have a robo. He doesn't have any warp prisms. Even if he did, that doesn't really solve the problem. That just is wasting time you could be using to go win the game. You're spending any money on missile... Build a bunker in your main if you're scared of something. Like, what are we doing? The fact that the priority was seeing a Dark Shrine at a base that's hidden after scouting the entirety of the main, which includes 0 robos, not that we were thinking that hard about anything. The fact that this is the response tells me there's a lot longer to go than I originally thought. The instincts are there, but the ability to process information is still very much in the Silver League. This is what happens when a Silver Leaguer learns to macro. You get a good army supply, you get an army lead, but anything happens, we pick up, go to the main, never take a third, and build a bunch of fucking turrets. It's all the boring and sad parts of Bronze League Heroes with none of the fun. It's just, it's like a 32-year-old saying a bunch of swear words at a child. It's funny if both children are 6 years old. It's not funny if one's 26 years older. So I should stop.
Research.
I do want to point out, you did see the Dark Shrine. I attacked this base and it goes horribly, you said. I mean, it didn't go very good. It went surprisingly bad. But you still win until you hit the select all army hotkey. Okay, now would be the time to lift that... Oh my god. Why was it... Okay. You didn't kill it. You're still winning the game really hard, and you already have an NG Bay. Oh, sweet. Just go kill it. Go, like... Oh my god. Oh, you have 2... that's your 3rd NG Bay. Jesus, the panic. You could... that's Silver Leaguer 101. It's like, I don't know what's happening. Better get an NG Bay. I don't... Scan! Well... I do not... Somehow you lose this game. I don't understand. You killed the Dark Shrine, but did he build another Dark Shrine? No! Those were leftovers. Ah, there's the storm. So you're gonna leave this game with like a 40 supply lead, I assume. So the only units we're allowed to build are the ones that start with M. That's what Byun taught us. Did you also see Byun losing to every form of splash damage painfully in the late game because he refused to build ghosts? You're like, which match was that? To which I say yes. At this point, is it even worth it to fight there anymore? He's almost out of minerals. At some point, you can just... Well, I guess we're attacking the main now. I have no idea how you managed to lose. Yeah, so you see a Colossus and Storm, and you're like, Marines, Marauders, and Mines. That's the ticket. You've managed to do everything wrong for like 7 minutes, and only now is it even getting kind of close. He has, oh, he has +3. Wow. He's been going at it. He built another Dark Shrine. Beautiful. The Whittle Mine's crushing it. Oh my god. Well, is that an early GG? A little. Wow, this was horrible. This was... The only thing that was missing was picking up the medevacs and flying into cannons. Picking up into medevacs and flying into cannons. Yeah, so you literally never built a single unit that didn't start with M. I gotta applaud you on your commitment to continually losing. There was at no point, not a siege tank, not a Viking, not a Liberator, not a Ghost, not a Raven, not a Battlecruiser, not a Banshee. Maybe a Reaper. I think we built a Reaper. It ended there. Those things sound like they might take micro. You know what else takes micro? Marines, Marauders, and Mines. This was a painful and deserved loss. This was about as much as you could ever deserve to lose. I don't even know if that's shameful, but I'm going to give it shame. And for Diamond, this is like a D+. This is a D+ because your brain is in the Silver League. Your macro is actually pretty solid Diamond, but your brain is so dumb. It's so bad. Like, you're so locked into this advanced Silver League mindset that, like, all he did was build a Zealot. He built one Zealot and one Stalker, and you retreated to your main. For one Zealot and one Stalker. That was the extent of the early game. This Nexus has 28 HP. God. Wow. Impressive. I am impressed. Macro, but very confused and afraid. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Maybe try playing Protoss. My actual recommendation is play Protoss. For like 15 games. You said macro could get me to Diamond? Well, it appears it did, and then you started thinking again, and that was a mistake. Speaking of someone whose thinking is a mistake for, Jolie Bowley. Platinum Zerg. Playing only ZVZ because that's the Platinum League for you. Every game is like 10 minutes, so.
Carrier has arrived.
Thank you, Ricky. Winning most of the game, so feeling pretty confident. Never got. Wait, that was Diamond level? Yes. If you're like, but I'm better than that and I'm not Diamond. Well, you're even a worse judge of your own skill than
Sunny
he
Rai
is.
chilling.
Well, nobody's diamond now, but diamond in MMR. Here's the ranges. Use the MMR range command if we have it set. It's just the league borders that don't work. Thank you, Tsunami.
He's dead, Jim.
Not related. Am I the only diamond player this season? It doesn't break for everyone, seemingly. It might be working now. I don't know. We'll have to test. The bug never affected me because you're so special. Oh, wait. We're looking at the Zerg. No. 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 Having a fifth of your economy sitting there for over 10 seconds in the first 90 seconds, it might seem like, look, I know how to rally from eggs. Well, let's unlearn that a bit. Like, fine. It's platinum. It's fine. In diamond, it's probably still fine. But, like, it's painful. It hurts to watch. Just select 3 drones when it finishes.
Queen ready. Brenda's ready to rumble.
What about that? Yo. Anybody gonna do anything about that probe? I mean, I do like the focus on the build. And the probe isn't that big a deal, but I do like the active disregard. Are we still mining with 3 out of 3 in gas? 1 out of 3. Okay, fine.
All done evolving. Good choice. For now, anyway. Your brood is under attack.
Correct. Spore 20. Spore 20. He didn't go Stargate, but you don't know that.
Brood under attack.
If he had an Oracle, he could kill an entire mineral line. It's not like you don't have the money. We're too busy microing a fucking Overlord instead of building spore crawlers or anything else. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. Sweet Jesus. Okay, he has an observer. Alright? Come on. Come on, put it together. And you know what? If he has an observer, maybe you don't need spores. But obviously we're not figuring this one out. Like, we're not putting it together. You can technically see the observer, but... Jesus Christ. The classic no plan survives contact with the enemy. 1,000 minerals. 0 larva. Oh, you did queue up a larva inject. You've got 13 larva. 1,000 minerals. And nothing in production. This is not a turn-based strategy game. I was taking my Overlord micro turn. Mm-hmm. Oh god. What are you afraid of? You have vision. You can see if he's coming across. I mean, I think building 3 roaches is fine. I don't know why we're building 5, 6 roaches. I wonder if you 1,500 minerals. Oh, now we're building spores. Okay, I almost want to give a strike for that. Though eventually we should be building them, but that is definitely a oh yeah! 1 out of 3 in gas, yada yada.
A new queen is ready.
No, why do you think? Okay, now is when you build roaches. You have 60 drones. At least you're building the 6 over, like 60 drones and then units, not a few units and then. Okay, well. Did you see that? Did you? You want to go back? Or. Huh. Huh. Anything? Anything worth noting? Anything? No, nothing.
A mineral field has been depleted.
All right, we're building roaches. Maybe we did.
Is now bigger.
Ah! No, 100%. This is the first time we've seen this. Thankfully, he's very kind to merge them within OV range.
And broodier.
So this is the most important time to be larva injecting, by the way. Right now. It looks like we do have some.
Is threatened. They're creeping on your creep. Drones under attack. Will you save them? You engage the.
Why are you? Okay.
On purpose?
Just give up everything. All right. And then we fight there for some reason. So, I don't know. Would having 15 more roaches have helped?
Your drones under attack. It's a disaster.
Maybe.
Check the replay. Find that play button.
So that was just straight up dying to something that... I mean, he didn't have a third. That's... Yeah, spend your money. Like, sitting there with 30, 40 supply in the bank and losing with it. Especially with 1-1 2/3 of the way done. Like... Spend your money. That was about as cut and dry as it can get. Kind of a boring, but I don't know how to help you. Like, don't sit there microing an overlord when he has an observer for 30 seconds doing nothing else. I don't have a tip for you if you can't pull that one off. Like, overlord micro should at no point be something that is even mentioned. But yet here I am making it a key point because apparently the most important thing, the most focus you had that entire game was on microing your overlord. It's a B-. Your build was pretty okay right up until any enemy units attacked any of your units. So you built a decent amount of drones, you got some money, you eventually got upgrades, but then a stalker attacked your overlord and everything went to shit. You're gonna take part in the AoE ranked. I actually want to give a shout out to AoE 4 because AoE 4 was such, and continues to be slightly less, but was such a disaster that I no longer was kind of like, I don't know, is StarCraft 2 still the best? AoE 4 was such an early access beta test of a 2004 RTS game that I realized I was re-inspired. I haven't been Grandmaster for a couple of years, but it really got me, by contrast, to focus on SC2 again. So, shout out to AoE 4. Shame on you, Jolie, by the way.
Shame. Shame.
Like,
shame.
That was the most boring way to lose that game. It wasn't even fun, besides the Overlord part. You couldn't even lose in an exciting way. Miles is back again. I mean, this was before the last one, but Miles is back with TVZ because he's like, well, actually, in TVZ, I bet he wins this one. You sent me your SC2 replay stats account, but you sent a drop.sc. You uploaded this one specifically? That's how you know he wins. He's like, well, that's how I assume he talks. No offense.
Oh, a follower. Is that all?
Oh, you Yucky Bumbo.
Is chilling for 3 months.
Because that's what his build is made of. I played it after you gave me feedback, and I implemented your feedback. What was my feedback? Don't panic? SCV scout. Oh, there you go. And then don't panic. Scout with probe. How do you scout with a probe? Don't micro reaper. Alright, close enough. So here's with trademarked winter advice. Are you calling out Pig in Winter, Daniel? For giving you bad advice? The Reaper, well, by don't micro Reaper, it means sit on the edge of the creep and make sure the Zerglings don't come by. Not ignore the... You know what? If it works for you... They released a big patch with a lot of quality of life stuff for pro play in AoE 4. No, they didn't. They added a few hotkeys, but you still can't overwrite the grid hotkeys. They added drag scroll camera, but only inverted. They did not add a better spectator interface, which is actually just a worse play. Imagine it was this. So the AoE 4 interface is a player interface, except worse. Imagine it was just this. You had no production tab. You're zoomed in more, because that's how the game is. You don't have this bar. And you don't have the minerals and gas. You can't see those without another thing open. I don't know how to take those away. They're so ingrained in the SC2 overlay. It's torturous. The third-party tournaments have a overlay that can be used on live games. That is okay, because it's drawn directly from the match, but you can't work it on replays, unfortunately. No, you can see their resources, but only the player you're currently selecting. What should I have done when I saw the links come across? When did you see the links come across? Are you this... You should have had the Reaper sitting here. So that way the links didn't come across without your Reaper seeing it. That's the point of the Reaper. If the Reaper doesn't sit there and wait for the links, then you shouldn't have built a Reaper. Also, you built a reactor before your factory, which is wrong. You're supposed to build the factory before the reactor, so the reactor is finishing when the factory does, and you can build Hellions.
Add-on complete.
So the build is bad. You fucked up the build, is what you did. This build dies to Zerglings. This is why you build the factory, so you can get Hellions to deal with large amounts of Zerglings. Otherwise, you just have a handful of Marines, which does not deal with even smaller amounts of Zerglings. Ideally, you're building or have 2 Hellions at this point.
Add-on complete.
Should I do a Hellion build versus Zerg? I haven't built a Hellion ever. Wow. My response to that is wow. Why did you get the NG Bay? Oh my god. He's such a Silver Leaguer! Okay. You need to, like... You're not allowed to... Here. You are not allowed to play Terran for a week. You must play 10 games as Protoss and 10 games as Zerg before playing Terran anymore. This is my requirement. Because there are too many habits here. FPS Daniel has nothing on you. There are too many habits. This is a problem. So here is your first instinct. You can see it. Remember, it was a Zealot and a Stalker, which is more dangerous than 6 Zerglings. 6 Zerglings are less than a Zealot and a Stalker. That's 3 supply of Zerglings. It's just 6 Zerglings. Here's what happens to 6 Zerglings. What do? Alright, yada yada. Fine, fine. Build is not good. Oh my god. Lift all the way to the main. Wait, do you lift all the way to the main or do you just hold there? You know what? You just hold there. It's fine. We're gonna sit here. NG Bay. I think NG Bay. I need maybe turrets or something. No, the answer is a barracks. That's the answer. Or build Hellions, which cost more minerals and less gas, so that way you actually have gas, especially when you're at 1 out of 3. If you're going to build Marines, build more barracks so you can build more Marines. You should build Hellions, you know, or like follow any, I hate saying this, but at least look at one of those build orders instead of letting your advanced Silver League guide you. Yeah, God. He had 6 Zerglings, therefore the threat of Zerglings remains as a pall cast upon all Terrans until the end of time. He could just make 20 more Lings and kill your entire natural, by the way. I'll become a sweatier Terran? No. It's actually easier to just do a simple build designed to deal with things like a handful of Zerglings, rather than whatever the fuck this medevac micro with no control groups, even for your command centers! Oh, I see him on the side. Sorry, I take it back. We have him on the mouse buttons or some shit. That NG base still taking up a nice aesthetic place in our base. Not actually serving any purpose, but also existing.
Add-on.
You know you have scan. Okay. Well, you lose the medevac. I'm not sure which part of my advice you took. It's like, you need to micro your medevac drops more. That's the one. Yeah, at no point. I guess if you got the idea of whatever this is, then I'll take credit, I guess. But I'm not seeing anything here. Literally just scout with SCV and don't micro Reaper. Wow. Except neither of those helped. In fact, I'd argue they actively hurt in this exact scenario. But you see, imagine the value for you. If I'm telling you both of those things did not help you, they actively hurt you, but you still did so much better. Imagine watching a build order, forgetting all of it, pretending you know what you're doing. Imagine how far that would get you based on that. Because you did 2 things poorly that hurt you. And you're like, confidence. So imagine unlearning an entire build. Confidence. That's really the value you gain. Yeah, because scouting with SCV and not microing a Reaper, the entire intent was to stop you from delaying your build and preventing you from taking early damage. You delayed your build and took early damage, so neither of those things helped. So just go look at another build order guide, ignore it, and play a game. No, don't ignore it. Just take it to the best of your ability, and then go play a game. See how it goes.
Ready for dust off.
And then you win. That is a begrudging B-, yet again. Actually, that's a B. Because this time, at least we weren't building bunkers on the high ground. And you spent your money. For Diamond 3, it's a B, because if you pretended... Like, let's pretend to have a build some more. I mean, that's what I got for you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to build some Hellions. We're going to get a starport. We're going to get a couple racks before an NG Bay. And then we're gonna max out and win. That's what we're going to get done. All right? Winter's coaching works. Yeah, obviously. But guess who made the ratings on both? But ignoring that, I rate you based. We have Bob, the perpetually diamond Protoss. Oh my god. So I don't know what happens in this game. Bob is the Protoss in the red. So the Zerg. You can pick a non-Protoss one. Nah. That one is dumb. I'm dumb. Well. I feel like no matter which game I picked. Is Bob the intern? Maybe. We haven't confirmed. It looks like you've been playing Protoss for the last quite a while. There's some Terran back there. No, we're doing that one. I want to see what dumb looks like. This feels like it's going to be obvious where the mistake is, and then you're going to pick the wrong thing to focus on. So for those who don't know Bob, he doesn't build enough gateways. I don't know if we need to expand past that. Oh, stop it. Stop. Bob. Why is that a strike? Tell me. You're over here fucking laser tonguing the minerals. Why is it a strike? No probes. Yeah, but I'm sure denying those mineral patches a little bit might make up for that. Literally just not building probes. I know that. But it's still a strike anyways. Oh my god. How long was it? Jesus. It was... Probe builds... Oh, we even waste some chrono. At 50... Oh, wait. There's another one. Okay, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. 103. Probes take 12 seconds. Non-chrono. So you missed most of a probe. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but you had essentially one job. Your job is not to flirt with the minerals. It is to build more probes. Where are you going? With nothing in the wall? Okay. So now we check for the other third. We check for the other third. He has a lair on the way.
Research complete.
You kind of just forgot the gates. Those gates should have been built like 30 seconds ago. He doesn't have a third though, so we got to start considering that maybe things need to be adjusted. I'm freaking out right now. Let's see, what does he actually have? Nothing, he's just bad. It's probably Mutas. He has 2 gases at each base. So here's what you do, is you build 2 Stargates as soon as you figure this out. Where are you going? This is the second time. Your Diamond Terran counterpart also did this, which is flying past one of the most obvious overlords because you're trying to be clever. Like, he's not smart. His overlords are in random locations. Just take the path of least resistance. Just get there.
Upgrades finished up.
So there's a spire, which you see at least 3 gases in a lair. So you should know. What in the fuck is that? Like, it's not that hard to smell the mutas. Okay, this is trying way too hard. You're trying way too hard. You probably could have won with the glaives if you just sent them straight across. Like, instead of doing whatever this cute shit is, if you had put a prism right there, warped in 8 glaive adepts, you could have killed half his economy before the mutas even were close to being born. But instead, what the fuck is this? Warping in over here, the suburbs? Because I saw too many queens? Those are glaive adepts! Yes, there's a small chance of nidus. I think that's what you're thinking. 1, too hard. Put a pylon there. If you're that convinced, put a pylon there. Why is there no pylon? It's like, because I like stressing myself out. Ah. And then, like, it could, if it was a nidus, it'd already be in your base and you wouldn't see it. Like, you keep being convinced it's a nidus. You've really got... Here you go. As you can see, another example of a diamond player thinking too hard. There's only so many options. Like, you've already convinced yourself that it is anything but what it actually is. So, 2 gases. You're actually killing a whole bunch of drones. He only has lings. Huh, that's weird. That's weird. Like, it wasn't... The only thing you didn't see was a spire. You saw the lair, you saw all the gas, you saw the late third, you saw only Zerglings. Without seeing the spire, the only thing you could have done was see the spire. I mean, that's a giveaway, but... Also, if he's on 2 base, why do you have to attack it all? If he had told you he was going mutas, I don't know if it would have helped at this point.
Need more pylons, or free up some supply.
Yeah, you can't be getting a Robo Bay, and a Stargate, and Colossi, and extended Thermal Lance. You have Glaive Adepts! You have Anti-Zergling. A Colossus is 2 Phoenixes of money. The Zerglings are not the threat.
You must construct.
Yeah, okay, you were right. You are dumb. So, you could have figured this out. There were many opportunities to figure this out. You do figure it out by seeing the mutas, and you continue fucking it up. Like, at this point, do you think you hallucinated them? Why are we building so many Colossi?
Your probes are under attack. Mineral patches.
Stalkers don't counter mutas. They barely deflect them.
Research all done.
Stalkers are your desperation band-aid. They are not the muta counter. It's nice of him to demonstrate that, though.
Mind out of that cluster. He's still in the game?
Well, he select all armies back. We might have a chance here. Imagine if we hadn't built Colossi for no reason. Yeah, technically Phoenix's counter, but when literally all they have to do is micro. Hasn't really put us in a great spot here. So this was pretty cut and dry. And this is usually why Protoss opens Stargate, so that way they're not completely in the dark and exposed to mutas. But Stargate takes micro, which is why a lot of lower level Protoss avoid it.
Glorious combat is
Notice, what are we on 7 for? Tell me that's like a mouse hotkey like everyone else tonight. It is Q. Oh, very fancy. Ah, yes. Colossi. Just what we need against Mass Muta. Or Corruptor.
Your base is under attack.
Might I remind you of the Glaive Adepts? Yeah, it's over now.
Mineral field depleted. Your base. GG. Next time.
I mean, he all but showed you the Spire. It wasn't like there was a lack of information. Nidus wasn't necessarily a terrible call, but if you're gonna do Glaive Adepts, don't be shy about it. That was, you know what? What's wrong with the MMO mouse? I mean, you know what they call an RTS mouse? A mouse. Would Storm have been better? No, building Phoenixes when you saw Mutas would have been better. Not building Colossi. It's not hard. Like, Phoenixes, he had a Stargate. We're giving Bob one more for the road. Another Zerg loss, but this one is very quick. Let's see if he's capable of doing basic decision-making. Okay, so there is a Hatchet the Third. There you go. So, in your previous games, you sent out 2 Adepts and left nothing in the wall. At least for quite a time. Looks like we're not doing that here. We are doing Glaive. I don't think there's a problem with the Glaive Adept build.
Oh, good. Now I have your attention.
Team Air 1 is chilling for 33 months.
Yeah, it's a lot of... Where are you going? You keep seeing information.
Research all done.
Okay. I mean, no, don't complete the shade. Cancel the shade. There you go. I mean, the initial defense could have been better. This is why you send out 1 Adept. I think we went over this in coaching many times. You send out 1 Adept, send out 2 Shades before Zergling speed finishes. You get an idea. You can watch Classic versus Rogue for what he does with his Adept in every game, even before an Adept Glaive's all in. You send out the first Adept, just the 1. You go scout. Does he have a lair building? Next Shade scouts how many drones are at one of the bases. Are there no drones? It would have scouted 0 drones, which is not very many drones. Sometimes you'll just see the Zerglings coming out. So you'll have more than 0 information. Otherwise, the actual pinpoint response was not bad. It was just you were a little out of position and panicked a bit. The backup wall was just a little late, but the idea was there. It actually wasn't bad. But you're not getting the information. You're just not... Then again, if you had gotten the information, I'm not confident you would have acted on it. So, like... But that one, like, that wasn't a bad response once you actually saw it. All right, we have DJ Merlin and Crying Hawk. And that should be it. At least for now. Nope. DJ Merlin, TVT, TVP. I'll give you the TVP. Oh my. Can you believe at like 8 or so minutes when he's doing a mild 2-base timing, he gets supply blocked for like 2 minutes straight? This makes him very unique and different from every other Diamond Terran we've seen tonight.
Remember, don't panic.
SCV ready.
More supply depots.
Okay, simmer down. Are we just not scouting? Alright. Okay, we'll scout. After it's fine.
Your CC is now a BCC. A better command center.
SCV ready.
These zealots, though. Wait, how did you know to keep the Reaper at home? Did you actually notice the gateway building?
CC upgraded, but at what cost?
Or did you just get lucky? No. Just lucky?
SCV ready.
Okay.
SCV
Yeah, I don't see any reason and that's part of the reason you usually scout a little earlier so you can see things like this, but
SCV ready.
oh no.
Your add-on has been constructed. Base under attack. Time to look to the corner and pray.
Yeah, there's no reason the Reaper should have still been at home, but a happy accident.
This better be good.
Kind of defeats the purpose of having a Reaper.
Ready to raise some hell. SCV ready.
Add-on. CC upgrade done.
SCV ready.
Well, I think he's got a robo.
Add-on complete.
I like the little zoom in.
Add-on is good to go.
SCV ready. Go, go, go.
Builds, your add-on is all done.
Is that supposed to be a depot? We'll get there. What psychopath starts a depot wall from the middle? Oh my god. We need a mental health check. I'm not even sure that's the right spot.
Who wants some?
You must construct additional depots.
Is this me? DJ Merlin knows. That was the most obvious observer. Observer! Observer!
Your forces are just...
Alright, did we even get an NG bay? Yeah, you can't forget the NG bay. It's not like you can't afford it, is the key part of it. It's not so much like it's a huge part of the early push, it's just don't forget the NG bay. Like, it can't be an afterthought. You can't chrono boost it.
You must construct additional supply depots.
Does he have a third? Does he have a third with 0 defenses? Does he have a third at the location he obviously has a third? Does he have a third base? Right where you would expect it to be, with nothing there? Do you know? You walked all the way across. I'm pretty sure he saw you. You get this far, and you're like, alright, now's the time. I'm gonna pick up and go to the main. That third base dies before the Colossi get out from the natural. And even if the Colossi do make it down there, they're probably going to walk down with no army. This is the only way to take a winning position and turn it all around, which Diamond Terrans are absolute geniuses at. This is why we turned off that other replay where after winning a fight, we picked up into medevacs and lost them. Because it's such a goddamn stereotype. There's no combat shield. There's no upgrades. If he has units, you will be dropping with less than your entire army. Best case scenario, we're not going to be doing anything else while we're microing this. But it's so fun. Well then, don't come here for coaching, come here to pretend to show off. Been having trouble, you, and I quote you, DJ Merlin, been having trouble with macro. I have a lot of trouble TVP against Stalker Colossus. Well, maybe if you actually fight, instead of flying your fucking medevacs right into his fucking units, you wouldn't look so fucking stupid. But you've gone your whole life like this. Why change now? It wasn't a strike until I saw the message. It probably would have been a strike after the medevac drop, but it wasn't a strike until I glanced at the message again. The message is literally asking how I improve on this exact scenario he's about to throw himself into. This is an unforced error. You have no obligation to drop him. It's like, I'm here now. Also, why would a drop ever be better? He's walled himself off. He's created a choke point for his own units. The best concave you could get is down his ramp. Yet you've decided to remove any of those advantages and embrace total risk. I actually just started using drops recently. Well, that means it'll be easy enough to stop.
Your add-on is all done. Add-on complete.
Oh wow, he has a third. You have no engineering base, you have no third command center, you have no starport units producing. You're still winning because he's a diamond Protoss, and all you have to do is not panic. This is what trying too hard looks like. You could have been in this same scenario with all 3 of your medevacs at full HP if you would just attack move the third. But instead, here we are, fucking hunting down. This is like literally beyond cosplay. I'm hunting a You could have killed every probe and the third nexus. Instead, we're fucking hunting a Colossus. And failing, I might add. Oh, we got it. What did it cost? Him a lot more. The worst part of this is it feels like you accomplished something. You killed 2 Colossi. The worst part is with these, like, you could make an argument it was worth it. It was not worth it. Because what you did is now lose a critical mass of units. He's going to build more Colossi. He has 2 Robos, remember? Now you no longer have the units that can fight and deal with his economy that allows him to build 2 fucking Colossi out of the 2 Robos that you scouted with your eye holes. Also, rally points exist. Engineering bays exist. You have 1,300 minerals. Did you just stim your entire army? Wow. You just panic stimmed your entire army, despite the only units under threat being the ones in medevacs who can't stim. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. These drops are really paying off. They're definitely something you're capable of making worth.
Hatch is gone, and it's not coming back. More.
Oh yes, the 3-tiered wall. Now we're gonna get all the rest of the stuff we now realize we forgot. Terran, you don't get to be creative. When you miss something, you're just late. With Protoss and even with Zerg, you can make an argument that you're doing a tech switch, or you can catch up with Larva or Chrono Boost. Terran can't catch up. There's no getting upgrades faster. There's no switching dramatically into another unit composition. There's just having less units with worse upgrades. That is what you get. You forgot Combat Shield. All right, Jimmy. Let's see how many marks we hit. Let's see how many. Okay. 4 idle SCVs. All right, we're going to go back a little. We got only 1 idle SCV. Supply block at 23. I don't think that happened. 1 out of 3 in gas. We do have that. Reaper Micro. Yep, we did a lot of that. Forgot Reactor. 3 tech labs might be a bit much. I don't know if we called it. SCV walled itself in. I'm surprised that didn't happen. Actually, there's more than 1 idle SCV. 2 idle SCVs. +1 is just as good as +1. Actually, just +0. Accidental second Reaper. Didn't happen. Is this a wall? Well, 1 out of 2 medevac supply blocked. Not an issue. Mule idle next to minerals. I don't think minerals are the issue. Walled in my own tanks. Try walling in everything. Started combat shield. Eventually. It looks like we're most of the way there. I'm excited for this mediocre 2-base timing.
You must
Ready.
You just don't have combat shield. No amount of... I'm turning off the replay if you pick up in the medevacs again, by the way. Just FYI.
Ready for dust off.
If you take this army that's flying by multiple observers, by the way. You didn't even check the watchtower. Not that it would matter, because he has multiple observers seeing exactly what you're doing. Remember, he had 2 robos. Still no combat. Then again, we have so many marauders. The combat shield isn't that relevant. There are more marauders than marines. So... Fuck you. Fight, you stupid bitch.
Get the fuck out of here!
Why can't you fight? You have more marauders than marines. You were winning. That's why it looks like you're dropping off a cliff. Look at every fight. Bigger army, lose. Bigger army, lose. At the end, you probably fight, and then you're like, oh my god, these armies. You had double the army value in that fight. But then, we can see what happens. That might have been here, actually. I don't know. Either way, every time he fights, he has more army value until he just loses horribly, because eventually the Protoss gets all the good units. I see. Yes, you are no... shoot down your own medevacs. That is my tip. Shame on you.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
You built tanks, siege them up, and then just immediately abandon them. Like, the classic, well, I built the tanks. Like, Jesus Christ. I wouldn't make fun of Diamond Terrans as a group if they weren't all the same flavor of special. I don't mean to insult Juanito, though. Just to be clear. Lowercase special. Light Wolf as a Protoss. Unranked. Against, that should be Platinum, but says Masters, because that's just how it is. I don't know which one this is. That they are the Zerg. Okay, so 28 something. Winter stressing. Like, by the 7th, we've literally tonight, we watched probably 6 Diamond Terrans make the same sort of mistakes. And that it's mostly out of total cowardice. It's like 30%. It's like 30% trying to imitate the wrong players. It's like 20% not understanding the other races. And it's like 69% being a total coward. And it's like 20% reason to remember the name. At the end of the day, it doesn't add up. It's a disaster. Honestly, shooting down your own medevacs before attacking would have been better than doing the drops. I stand by that. That army wins if it fights, even without medevac. The time Terran can decisively win, and there's not even a Terran in this game, I'm just still complaining. The time Terran decisively wins is before they finish the tech tree. That's when things get hard. That's when you have to use ghosts, which are the best unit in the game, but way too hard for you to control. Like, if you let them finish their tech tree, then you're going to have ghosts. Do you want that to be a fact? Like, your army is better until they finish their tech tree, which takes quite a while. Now we have a lot of extra gas. So, historically, the issue with having 3 out of 3 in gas continuing is not because having gas is bad. It's because at some point, in the probably not too distant future, you will look at your gas and be like, oh shit, I gotta do something about this. And that's when mistakes start to happen. It's not so much that it's too much. Like, you away.
A Waven is
So
for
that is why we
61
usually pull out a gas. Well, also for the minerals to get a third hatchery, but two sides. This is the last replay, by the way. This is your last chance to get any in for anyone else. Otherwise, we start with Daniel and we end with Wisdom. That is... No, we don't need more gas. This is not good. The build is bad. I don't know where this was learned. This is not a legacy of the Void build. When you have 300 gas, the last thing you need is 2 more. What are we going, Mutas? So, taking 3 bases is usually very important for Zerg. Oh no. There's a unit! Well, lucky for us, it died. So what do I say? I say 50 drones. Well, for Platinum, it's supposed to be 50 drones by 6 minutes. We're at 6 minutes at 40 drones and continually killing more. So this isn't remotely close to enough drones. If they expand and then build a Void Ray, then you can get away with 50-something drones. But instead, we're out here spreading creep and doing very little else, including larva inject. I do... Wow. Wow. Lightwolf put a big L on the map. Now that's macro. Hey, that's actually a perfect gateway timing. Protoss has the grasp here. 3 bases, building immortals, 50 probes, gateway explosion. This is way better than the Zerg. The Zerg is over here thinking too hard about not building drones. All that needs to be done right now is build drones. Not creep spread, not overlord spread, not build roaches. We need more drones, and that's the one thing we don't have. Like, you're not gonna... The creep spread's great. 42 drones, it's just not remotely fucking close to enough. You can't go... Roach Hydra, the unenthusiastic hand job of unit compositions. Only with overwhelming economy does it actually work. And the Zerg is supposed to relatively easily have a better economy than the Protoss in the mid-game, because they have larva. But this is not what having larva looks like. Creep spread doesn't help if you don't have any units. You can move your way too tiny ass army 30% faster. How exciting. You can see it coming and know that, oh wait, I don't have any larva because I was spending all my energy on fucking creep spread rather than larva inject. Alright, and then attacking... You know the best time to attack is when your 2-2 upgrades are halfway done. When we just decided, because the fucking Jupiter aligned with the sundial in my backyard that a dog knocked over, I looked up at the stars and said, that's it. That's the timing. Okay, if you want to just creep spread instead of building units, go play fucking co-op. Alright? Co-op is here for you. Creep spread, Abathur has creep spread that does damage. Your units can be really cool. You can play them like a MOBA. I recommend co-op, if this is how you want to play. Because this is not multiplayer. This is co-op. Co-op is for people who want to build cool bases, get all the cool stuff that is not a priority, and then die to attacks anyways on too high a difficulty. Ah, yes. 127 supply. That's the ticket. That's the number. We're at 53 drones, which is way too fucking few. $53 has been the max. No. Immortals. Templar. The Protoss being very kind. Very respectful of the creep. They really should. The Protoss has no reason to be respectful of this creep. There's no army on it. That army dies in 3 storms. Yeah, this looks like 2 players cosplaying players who are double their MMR. They're both doing all the right things, but they've done it like 5 minutes late with way too much money in the bank. But technically, it's mostly decent army compositions with decent upgrades, but the Protoss had every opportunity to win the game. But now, oh, nailed that fungal. This is why we don't build infestors, because they take up the hotkey. And also, fungal just annoys most Protoss units. Well, you might be like, Winter. Well, if you only have 50, well, now 70 drones, but you have this much money in the bank, well, build... You see, the problem... This is why I say go play co-op. Because the problem is every part of the game. The priorities are bad, the spending is bad, the larva injects are bad, but there's 45 larvae in the bank. I mean, I guess building that many hatcheries. So every part of it, like, every part of it except the stuff that doesn't matter is, like, it's a really weird situation. It's like watching a toddler drive a Camaro. Like, technically, creep spread pretty good. Upgrades pretty good. Macro, horrible. Like, micro, on paper it looks good until you crash into a wall. Depleted. Even building Vipers. No plan survives contact with... There was no contact with the enemy is the beautiful thing. It just wasn't very good from this. We just sat on 2 base. There has been no contact. I mean, there has been contact now, but only because the Zerg attacked. Like, this is the right army. It's very kind of the Protoss to let it get this far. I will say, very much that Protoss army could have walked across and won the game. Several times over. There has been Storm, Immortals, Archons, and enough army supply to make it not even close for, like... They're chilling. Maybe this is one of the 2-3 games ever. Alright? Make some cannons. You know how cool it is? And cannons are fun. Who doesn't love cannons? Alright.
Mineral field depleted.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that you play. This was a custom game, I will say. This is the kind of game you play with a friend who you don't want to annoy by attacking them and winning the game. So that way you just don't, and you be honorable and respectful. And both of them would have been dead on the ladder, even at decent MMR, because nobody plays like this at this level, because they would have just attacked and killed them. What level? I don't even know. This is co-op level. This is like theory crafting. Like, that's a microbial shroud. The fuck? I can't remember the last time I've seen it even in pro games. Oh my god, look at the army control. Yeah, this is... I've had 15 minutes to set up my hotkeys for this. Unfortunately, Microbial Shroud is more of a storm me here button. Yeah. Well, and yeah, that's... The Protoss could have done something like that literally for the last 8 minutes. It would have looked maybe a little different, but essentially that could have happened for 8 minutes now. Yeah. I mean, I guess getting carriers and a bunch of storm was the safest way to do it. Thing is, it wasn't because the Zerg was so far behind. It was because the Zerg never even tried to put themselves ahead. Like, they never tried to build 70 drones. They never tried to get a hive in a timely manner. They never tried to max out. So, there was no opportunity. Well, that was like... theoretically platinum-ish. The army control was very good. It's just the entire opener was minutes behind where it needed to be. So unfortunately you don't get to know. That's why a lot of people don't like StarCraft and why co-op is so popular. That was an example of why. If your opponent just sits there and lets you build everything, set up all your hotkeys and your defenses and your creep spread, well, you're still gonna fucking lose in 4 seconds, but at least it feels like you did a lot more. And that's why co-op is so fun, because rarely, especially on the lower difficulties, does it kill you like that. Playing for a week? Not bad for a week. Now build drones. Now we need to cut it all out until you can build 80 drones in 8 minutes. Yeah, we're thinking too hard. This is when you skip past the first 6 minutes of a build order guide. That's what this looks like. This is literally I skipped to the macro. No, you didn't. You skipped the macro. That's what you did. So, a light shame.
Shame. Shame.
And for gold, it's a B.
Shame.
A light shaming. I'm giving it a 0.5. I'm not sure we kept up the count perfectly on this one. But I think we'll wrap this up with an advertisement for the upcoming angry coaches, and so many more. So, thank you guys for watching. This post-roll ad will conclude Angry Coach Marathon. Hey everyone, welcome back. The video's not over yet. I know you were falling asleep. YouTube might have asked several times, are you still watching? Well, you better be fucking watching now, because Angry Coach Marathon is over. You missed it. You can go back and look at the trials of FPS Daniel. You can look at every single Diamond Terran pretending they're not still silver cosplaying Byun. You can look at the Protoss players who pretend to have something resembling a build order, but can't even see their own build, let alone their opponents. You can look at the Zerg players who also exist, much to our dismay. And you can do it now by going back to whenever you remember me yelling in the replay. Thank you for watching. Make sure to smash that like button or else. And remember, Angry Coach Marathon is every 2 weeks live on twitch.tv/wintergaming, except when it's not. Sometimes it's every 3 weeks. And sometimes not on the same day, but sometimes it happens. You were here, you watched, you at least pretend to play StarCraft, and I want to thank you for that. You might have been placed Bronze or Masters. Hopefully that'll get sorted out. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Matchmaking still works. You're amazing, you're breathtaking, and you're giving me an aneurysm. Thank you, good luck, and good night.